Right. Everything that's happened since the Walls said that Chris McCaffrey's contemplating retirement has made it look like the Walls are stronger than ever.
Now, have the Walls heard anything from our good friend Mike Florio about any sort of legal recourse that could happen for fantasy football owners who might have drafted this player?
The Walls is not a fan of Mike Florio and thinks he's fake news and a fraud and a fan fiction. So I don't think the Walls is too worried about Mike Florio.
Is the Walls known for throwing darts?
Not yet.
On the course, on the golf course.
On the golf course, but not. I'm talking about like stories. Like you don't just throw stuff at the wall, see if it sticks.
If the Walls could dunk. On today's part of my take, we're talking football, college football, NFL, Monday night doubleheader. We got Booger McFarland on the show talking both. We're also going to get into some playoff baseball because it's playoff baseball time. We actually start the show on Zoom for the first 10 minutes talking playoff baseball. Then we're back in the studio talking all the football. We got Hot Seat Cool Throne. We got FAQs. We got everything. Great, fun show for everyone. And it's brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. TD Tutty, taking it to the house in for 6, whatever you call a touchdown. One thing's for sure. Touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, on the ground, in the air, from the special teams or defense. We don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like picking a player to score a touchdown or how many TDs will be in a game. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, and PFT, the New York Mets might be a team of destiny.
Yeah. It feels that way, doesn't it?
So
it does. They're like a fun team. They're playing for each other. They're emotional out there. People are crying. It's hard to say if we're power ranking teams of destiny right now. I would say the Mets would probably be the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, because they have the saying, they have the OMG that they're running around, the rallying cry. They have Monday was one of the most dramatic, last days of the regular season. The Braves and the Mets had to play in a doubleheader. If they split the games, they both go into the playoffs. If one team sweeps, the other team is out. It looked like so we have a lot of Mets fans that we know, a lot of Mets fans we work with. Memes is a Mets fan. He's not here right now. He's out for a couple of days. But I think seeing like our colleague Meek Phil cry, people were making fun of him, being like, dude, they just clinched a wild card spot. But that's not knowing the Mets history. Going into Monday, I think most Mets fans were fearing the embarrassment and dread of somehow losing both games, especially in a situation where the second game will not matter whatsoever to the team that wins the first game. And the Mets were down and lifeless. They come all the way back. Then the Braves come back. Then the Mets come back, and it was just like Lindor, who's should get heavy consideration for MVP, even though he plays in the same league as Shohei. The Mets might be a team of destiny, and our guy Max is scared. He thinks the Mets will just never lose again, even though they technically lost the second game because they were just swinging at everything and they didn't give a fuck, and they were just trying to get out of there.
Yeah, going into that game, the rules that were set into place by Major League Baseball were so funny because you had the opportunity, and it actually ended up happening where both teams would get in at the end of the day. So they were not allowed to have a champagne celebration for the Mets after the first game was over. they had to wait until after the second game, and then we had double champagne celebrations. I think that they should have let the Mets celebrate their win. They should have been able to get drunk. Is there something in the rules about not being able to play baseball when you're drunk? That would have been funny to watch in the second game. And then so they had that rule in place, and then the manager of the Mets said that maybe after the games are over, they'll just, instead of doing a celebration in their own locker rooms, they'll just go out and hug on the field. They'll hug the other team. So I was rooting for the hug, basically just because it was a Frank the Tank fanfic come to life, where the Mets manager was actually saying, let's hug the Braves and celebrate them and their victories and their successes. But yeah, Max, I was actually curious too, because looking at the playoff bracket, I would imagine that you do not want to play the Mets if you had your choice. Is that true?
I've been rooting against the Mets. I wanted nothing more than to play any team but the Mets going into yesterday. And like the way everything has gone in the past 2 days, it's like I have zero confidence in that series. Yeah. They're exactly the team that you do not want to face in the playoffs. We haven't needed to play like meaningful baseball in a month. Every single game has been down to the wire for them. They go down, they come back. Even in the Brewers game today, they went down twice, came back twice, and they keep having clutch hit after clutch hit. It's the exact team that gets hot at the end of September that it just doesn't matter who they play, they're gonna win. And the Phillies haven't played meaningful baseball like all year.
Big Cat. Hey, Max, turn your headphones off. I'm worried. I'm worried that our boy's learning. Because old Max would have been like, they're the Mets. Fuck them. We'll beat the fuck out of the Mets. The fact that he's got this trepidation, that he's a little insecure, that I don't like that. I want Max to get back to like, fuck them, said.
No, but the Mets they're playing great ball right now. And this is the scariest part about postseason baseball is it's simultaneously the longest, most torturous thing you can watch, and also the quickest thing that can happen because, like, even the wild card round, especially tomorrow, there will probably be 2 out of 4 of those teams, maybe 3 out of 4, maybe all 4 out of the playoffs, and it happened like that. Like the Brewers, I know Brewers fans are sitting there like, not again. This happens every year where we're good, and then we get there, and it's just instant. So. Even in the DS, when it's a 5-game series, you can just be done in a matter of like 3 or 4 days, and just it makes no sense because you watch 6 months of baseball and then boom, it's over. So I understand where Max is coming from. The Mets look really good. Yeah, I would be nervous over Max. I'd be very nervous over Max because that Monday game felt like it did feel like going into that game. The fan base, especially, maybe not the team, was feeling the pressure of this will be so embarrassing if we lose 2 games when the second game doesn't matter. And the way they won the first game with Lindor just being an absolute clutch monster of a hitter, it makes you play free. And the Mets are playing free, and they dominated the Brewers. They jumped all over the Brewers today.
I wonder if Mets fans are pissed off that they had to listen to our boy Christian Yelich talk about the game.
Yeah.
That was giving some Jason Kelsey vibes during Monday Night Football.
Yeah, but we love Christian. We do love Christian. Yeah, it was the Mets just jumped all over him. Did you also see there's I saw it somewhere. The Mets called up a dude who's like, did they call up? I got to find it. But either way, yeah, Mets look good. The Tigers need a lot of credit. Right. What?
Mrs. Met looking right.
Ms. Met looking voluptuous. They did not nerf Mrs. Met.
That's a body built for October.
Yeah. The Tigers too. Like we have just great stories right now in October. Tarek Skubal, who's a Cy Young. Shout out that AWL. I've said it on the show. I'll find the tweet when he actually officially wins it, but he's going to win it. Who handed me an envelope in Detroit when we were at the NFL draft. And he walked away. He just handed me the envelope and walked away. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I open up the envelope. In the envelope is a piece of paper that says, Tarek Skubal, Cy Young, take it right now. 450 plus 450. I got it at plus 400. I bet it instantly. I've never done that. Blind trust in this dude who just handed me the envelope. He's going to win the Cy Young. He was an absolute beast. What'd you say?
You blind trusted people before.
Well, blind trusted never an envelope.
Yeah, spin
usually
zone.
just people just hand me, they just say things and I just bet it. But like an envelope felt official. It was like he was handing something that was like very official that he wrote down. Who has envelopes? Like I don't even. Where the fuck would you get an envelope these days?
Plot twist. That was actually O's the Mentalist that did it. So he nailed it again.
I mean, it was a great bet. It was shout out that guy. I got to find him and I got to buy him something. So I will buy him something. If the guy can prove it, I'll figure out through my tweets if I can figure out like if I took a picture with him or something. But he was an absolute beast in Houston today. Just hoss. Like there's something about those top of the rotation hosses where they just get on the mound and they just absolutely dominate and shove. And that's what he did to the Astros today, and it felt good. It looked good. It felt good. Tigers fans have not had a lot to be excited about recently, and this team has kind of come out of nowhere. They were building something, but this is like a little early. Awesome win. Hopefully they can beat the Astros. No one's rooting for the Astros.
Yeah, so I have no idea how the Tigers did this season. They're the youngest team in baseball, I think by a pretty significant margin. So they were not penciled into this spot at all. I think what happened was they stopped playing Javier Baez, and Javi got hip surgery. And Javi, in his contract, it's probably the worst contract in baseball right now. So he's out for the rest of the season. And then they started winning games, and their young guys stepped up. And to me, if you were to make one argument for another team of destiny, it would be the Tigers.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how they did it. My guy Scott Harris is the GM in baseball. I think he's president of baseball ops there. Fucking super smart dude. He was one. I don't know if you remember the story. He was kind of Theo's whipping boy for a while in Chicago, where like there was a story that came out when the Cubs made their run that they would make him eat a loaf of bread every time they needed a rally in Theo and Jed's suite. But I wrote a blog about him when he was like 26 years old and he got promoted to like VP, like vice president, GM or assistant GM or something. And I wrote a whole blog being like, this guy's a fucking overachieving piece of shit. Like you can't be 26 and be the assistant GM. And then I had a mutual friend and I ended up meeting him like a few months later. He's like, hey, I read that blog. And it was the first time I was like, oh yeah, I guess things I do say probably people hear these. So great dude though. I became friends with him. He's a genius and he's got the Tigers in the right direction.
I love the idea that the Cubs had like that kid at the lunch table. This guy will eat anything. And
I gotta find it now.
It's like Billy Bats and Joe Pesci, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you know, but I don't shine shoes no more. You've gone a long time. Maybe you didn't find out.
I think it was John Greenberg who wrote the story, but it was a great story where he basically like they just handed him bread every time. And they were like, hey, here you go. We need some runs. So go start eating some bread. But yeah, the Tigers are a great story. The Royals are a great story. The Orioles are – I'm starting to feel bad for Orioles fans. That's 9 straight playoff losses they've had. 9 straight. And I looked it up. So I was trying to figure out if it was exactly 9 straight. And I every now and then, like for college football, they'll do like Winspedia. And you can see like the history of a rivalry. So I searched like Orioles playoff history and it got me to a website that's called Champ or Chump. And it grades each franchise, major sports franchise, and the fan experience for the last 10 years. And the Orioles fans, they get a D+. You get a D+ if you were a fan of the Orioles for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that Zach Britton game where he was nowhere to be found. Was that the start of their losing streak, or was that might have been the start of it?
Well, they got swept by the Royals in 2014, and then they went and they lost a 1 game when it was still a 1 game wild card to the Rangers. They got swept last year, or sorry, to the Blue Jays. They got swept last year, and they've lost this year. So yeah, that's 9 straight, and they just. I feel like I don't know. I like the Orioles. I like those guys are awesome on the team. The young guys on that team, they came through the office earlier in the season. Orioles fans can tell me I'm way off. It feels like the Orioles, whatever their hitting coach, they need a new hitting coach because it feels like every time they're in a big moment, they're all just swinging for the fences and hoping they hit a home run. And you've said it a million times, PFT. Small ball wins.
Small ball. Mike Socialism. Bring it back. It's great. Pete Rose would be disgusted by the Baltimore Orioles. Swing down at the ball. Line drives, ground balls. Those can be hits. Pop flies can't.
Yeah. So, and then what was the other? Oh, the Padres in the. It was the Padres in the Braves. Who the Braves? I mean, they had to fly all the way across the country, and then they pitched. Hank, what were you saying? They pitched like a nobody.
Yeah, they started the broadcast being like, this guy hasn't pitched in 157 days. He's 21 years old. He was in college not too long ago. You could tell he was nervous, and then I think his fifth pitch was like hit into the upper deck.
Yeah, Tatis went yard today, and the moonshot that he hit, I know I just got done talking about how you shouldn't swing up at balls, which statistically probably isn't true given the way that baseball's gone recently, but Tatis hit a ball. I looked it up. It was 39-degree launch angle. A moonshot. That's the biggest launch angle to be a home run in the history of Major League Baseball since they've been keeping track. So that thing went like straight up. It was on, and Tatis is a fucking monster to watch. That dude is awesome.
He is.
And obviously it was because they played yesterday. They were trying to get in, but it started before that going. Yeah, it was supposed to be Chris Sale, but he's not available. So instead, they have this 21-year-old kid that like hasn't pitched in the major leagues.
Dude, what happened with Chris Sale? He had like back spasms or something, or his something was fucked up where it happened at noon yesterday because he was supposed to pitch the second game in a must win, and now all of a sudden he's just not even pitching. It's nuts.
Yeah,
the Braves just get these type of injuries. I don't know. By the way, I found the anecdote. It's actually from Wright Thompson, our good friend. This is from an article in 2016. So this is Scott Harris, who is basically the mastermind in running the Detroit Tigers, who are a great story in these playoffs. So it says, Wright Thompson wrote, a Cubs winning streak grows to 11 games halfway through the home series against the Cardinals in August. On a Saturday, Epstein and baseball ops guys gather in Suite 33 to watch the team try to win a third straight from St. Louis. The world up there has its own set of rules and superstitions, and central to the canon is this. If the team needs offense, Theo makes Scott Harris, the director of baseball operations, take out a loaf of plain bread and start eating. When Harris eats carbs, the Cubs score.
You eat like this. You take this bread. Boy, come over here. Boy, you eat
it's like
this
a frat
bread.
house.
Yeah.
Honestly, so that guy.
I trust in Theo too. Maybe Theo was right to do this. Maybe Theo knows something about developing talent.
That guy, Scott Harris, is head of everything in the Tigers. I hope he's still eating the bread for the Tigers because they're going to need some runs. But yeah, it's a cool baseball story. He's a great dude. So I'm happy for Tigers fans.
Also, this is the second time in 2024 when Michigan sports fans have had an incredible weekend.
Michigan sports are on top of the world.
2 great days in a row. Back, it was it the Lions wild card victory and Michigan national championship?
Yeah,
on back-to-back days. And now you've got the Lions dominating Monday Night Football, which we'll talk about in a second, and then the Tigers winning a playoff game. Good for you, Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan's on top. And the Royals are also a great story. I just like teams that haven't been in a while. It's always great to get the new faces into the playoffs, and the Royals are one of those where they've had an unbelievable season. They got some fucking studs. Playoff baseball is the best, though. It's like these first days when it's just wall-to-wall baseball and every moment feels so intense. You love it.
So is it bad for the teams that get the buys, that they have to just sit around and get out of rhythm? Because back in the day, you know what they used to do? They used to schedule meaningless games against exhibition teams. They would have scrimmages.
No, they play each other. Yeah, they play each other. They play themselves. Like Garrett Cole, there was a clip of Garrett Cole someone taking him yard at Yankee Stadium today. But PFT, I don't want to say you're sounding like a Dodgers fan, but you're sounding like a Dodgers fan right now because that's Dodgers 101.
I'm in favor of postseason chaos. I'm in favor of a team winning 130 games and then getting swept in a series.
Yeah, that's Dodgers 101, being like, well, it's actually a detriment that we don't get to play these first 3 days, and that's why we lose, and it's not fair, and they should basically do it like the EPL. Whoever wins the most games gets to win the World Series. They don't even play the playoffs.
They should just do it based on whichever players had the highest WAR during the regular season. Wins over play. We'll do it all based on math.
Yeah. So Max, just going back, you're done. You're not even going to watch.
No, just expectations are very low.
Oh, that's so sad. The bank, dude. The bank.
I know.
Game one on an NFL Sunday? No, game 2.
No, game 2's on NFL Sunday.
Game one.
Game one Saturdays must. I'll tell you this right now. Game one is must win.
Oh, look at our boy.
He's
all
learning.
grown up. He's all
If
grown
you
up.
lose at the bank Saturday with Wheeler pitching, you may as well not watch the rest of the series.
This is a seminal moment in Pardon My Take history because Max, it feels like he's finally been beaten down by us and this show that he's going game one, must win. Yeah. And I have to agree. You have to win. You can't lose that game.
He's afraid of
I'm
the
also
Mets.
I'm just assuming that the Mets win tomorrow, and it doesn't even. I'm just assuming Mets. Like, if it's the Mets, game one must win. If it's a Brewers,
I don't like this, Max. I'm telling you, he's learned too much. Yeah,
we've beaten him down too much. He's already saying must win on a game one. We usually don't break out the must win thing till like it's 1-1, it's a game 3 or something, and then we get you in a whole pickle. But you're throwing up the white flag right now. Every game's a must win.
It's all the weddings he's been going to. He's got too much perspective on life now.
So, Max, let me ask you a question. If you lose game 1, it's over, right? You don't even play game 2?
No, you'd obviously play game 2.
Oh, so then it's not a must win. So you'd still have series left.
I mean, I'm just saying for vibes. If we lose game 1, then like my expectations are low right now. If we lose game 2, it'll just be like, whatever. We're just watching baseball for fun.
But you're saying that like there will be a game 2.
Right. You said must win, so I assume that there would just never be a game after that because you wouldn't do a must win if there's still 4 games in the series left.
No, yeah. You guys are trying. I don't know what you guys are trying to paint. This picture you're trying to paint right now, but I'm going to say that game 1's must win.
Why don't you?
We're just playing our Uno.
Here's the thing, though, Big Cat. It sounds like Max doesn't trust in his guys.
Yeah.
And the one thing about Max, he loves his guys.
That's because they just keep letting me down every time.
You don't love your guys anymore.
You don't love your guys. Max, we just played a little Uno reverse on you there. I don't know if you realize that. But this is going to be fun. This is October. This is my favorite thing. Should we talk? You know what? Dikembe Mutombo, I feel like deserves a rest in peace before Pete Rose because Dikembe Mutombo was an all-time guy, basketball player, recurring guest, was like a thrill. I remember when we had Dikembe on, it was one of those ones where it's like, this is an all-time thrill, and he did not disappoint. He was exactly as I expected and just as funny and gregarious as I expected. And that was really sad to see that he passed away on Monday.
The voice was incredible when we got to talk to him. I mean, you will never forget that. I saw a clip of when he was on Conan O'Brien's show, and Conan made him suck a helium balloon and start talking. It was great. Yeah, Dikembe, great person, intimidating ass basketball player. Just go watch highlights, compilations of Dikembe just blocking shots, wagging his finger. That's what started the whole taunting thing. That's the first thing I can remember where refs stepped in and had to be like, no, it's too emasculating to do this to your opponent. He would swat their shot, and then he would wag his finger in their face, and they told him, okay, you're allowed to wag your finger, but you can't wag it at them. You can just like hold it up in the air and wag it.
Yeah.
And then it's all gone to shit since then. But yeah, Dikembe Mutombo, awesome defensive player. I always remember that Nuggets series where he was crying, holding the ball afterwards.
Behind his head on the ground.
It was so good. All-time guy.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And then Pete Rose also passed away. Way better baseball player than human. But Pete Rose, I mean, listen, I'm a believer that he should be in the Hall of Fame because I think the Hall of Fame should have everyone in it. Any incredible player, you tell the whole story. Tell the whole story of baseball. Steroids guys, Pete Rose, everything. He should have been in the Hall of Fame. I feel like they might put him in after he passed, which would be a little bit of a shame in my eyes. But
he said he didn't want to go in after he died.
Now he doesn't have a choice.
The celebration is for your family and your friends, and you want to be there to witness all of it. I understand that perspective. But
he got a life suspension.
He had a lifetime suspension. The lifetime's over.
It's over. It's over. But yeah, Pete Rose, I mean, one of the best baseball players of all time. I mean, 4,000 something hits and
4,256 hits. Here's a crazy stat. I read this tonight. He had 3,125 singles. That's more than Babe Ruth had hits. He had more singles than Babe Ruth had hits over his career, which is crazy. And also, just looking up crazy stats, I just searched for some Pete Rose stats, and that led me to a Barry Bonds stat that I feel like we should just throw in here because it's a fun fact. Barry Bonds, did you know he has more intentional walks than the entire Tampa Bay Rays organization in their history?
That's amazing. I love that stat.
And this is the last time we can say that because he's got, I think, 3 more intentional walks than the Rays do. So next season, that stat's not going to be around anymore.
Yeah. The Pete Rose, we tried to get him on a few times. I think he wanted money, which I understand. That was the Pete Rose game. Also Hall of Fame gambler. I think he has to be that. He should be in the Hall of Fame easily. The story goes, obviously, in 2002, I believe, he had a private under the radar meeting with Bud Selig, basically being like, how can I get my lifetime ban taken away? How can I get in the Hall of Fame? And Bud Selig was like, you have to apologize for it. You have to completely disassociate from gambling. You have to not do any of that stuff. You have to show true remorse. And apparently the story goes that Pete Rose took the meeting, agreed to all these things, and literally just walked right into a casino. Yeah. And it was just like, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
1-800-GAMBLER. Pete Rose, he was an all-time example of how not to apologize for stuff.
Yeah.
So he probably would be in the Hall of Fame if he had admitted when he was caught, yeah, I bet on games, and I bet on games that I was managing, and that's just what happened. So instead of doing that, he said, I never bet on baseball. I think he said never bet on sports first, and they said never bet on baseball afterwards. Then it was I never bet on baseball games that I was managing. And then he was like, well, I never bet on games that I was managing and bet on us to lose. I always bet on us to win. So he did bet on games that they managed. There was one more step he could have gone, which is, yes, I did bet on baseball games that I managed, and I bet on us to lose, but I lost those bets.
Yeah.
If he had gone that far, that was like the last thing that he didn't ever get around to saying, but he had a hard time admitting his problems.
Yeah. And it is like, I know some people will be like, well, if you bet on them to win, what's the problem? I kind of understand it, but I'm also like, if you're betting a ton of money on a game and you're the manager of the game, you probably are going to manage it a lot differently than it's like game, 85 in the middle of the summer. You're probably like, if you're like, hey, I have this is the biggest bet I've made all season, you're going to use your bullpen different. Everything's going to be different. So, you probably can't bet on games even if you're betting on your team to win.
Yeah,
definitely changes things.
You're probably going to make it more likely that your team loses the next game. And
right.
And then if you bet on your team to win, you empty out your bullpen and you win that bet, then as a guy that loves having a little action on the game, you know that you're not going to have a great bullpen the next day. You might be more inclined to bet on your team to lose the next day.
Yeah. Last thing before we kick it to ourselves, do you guys want me to this Champs or Chumps website? Do you guys want me to look up anything?
Like for fan sadness?
Yeah, it grades every fan's experience in the last 10 years. The Bears got an F-.
That's pretty bad. I didn't know they gave F-.
I'll look up the Commanders. Hold on. Let's see. Commanders got an F.
Okay.
They got an F.
Patriots.
Oh, fuck you, Hank.
I'm curious. It's probably like a B+.
No, it's last 10 years, dude. It's going to be an A. It's A+. If you've won a title in the last 10 years, you get an A at bare minimum.
That's one?
What?
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, you did that on purpose. Like the Eagles. A. Yeah, if you go to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl title, what was the team? Who wanted? You wanted Wizards?
49ers is an A?
Yeah, give me Wizards. Wizards would be great.
Like
this is a fun site.
49ers fan is not an A.
It's a B.
Yeah.
That's correct. I think that's actually a very fair grade.
It almost hurts that much more.
Yeah, right. A B is like not a grade. A B is like I was capable of getting an A, but I just don't have one.
Well, what about Falcons? That's a real test too because you got to a Super Bowl.
Wizards they are a D+.
That's very generous.
It's a fun site. Falcons. I don't know exactly the what's behind the algorithm here. C for the Falcons. So yeah, it's a 10-year sample size, like shows winning percentage. They made the playoffs twice. They've won 3 playoff games, 0 championships. Panthers might, if this counts their Super Bowl year, it might not be as bad as you think. C.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it counts their Super Bowl year, or going to the Super Bowl, 15-1. Fun site. I don't know. I just found it randomly. champerchump.us. Probably going to get a virus or something on my phone.
What about the Raiders?
Good question, Hank. The Las Vegas Raiders get a F.
Ooh, what about the Chiefs?
Chiefs, it's got to be an A+. A+.
What about the Broncos?
Broncos, B+, because it includes their Super Bowl win 2015.
All right, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. You feel good? You satisfied?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a cool site.
Give me Cowboys.
Cowboys. We could do this all day.
Yeah.
D+.
See, I like this website.
This is a good website. That's a good grade.
I think this website is fair.
Yeah.
What about the Los Angeles Rams?
The Los Angeles Rams, that's going to be at least an A. They won a Super Bowl. A.
You're asking all the worst questions.
Yeah, you're asking all the ones that won a Super Bowl.
I was just curious.
Packers are a B+. That feels fair. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's kick it to ourselves. And then we got Booger McFarland. Let's get back in the studio. Okay, before we get to some football, college and NFL, we're brought to you by our friends at Farmer's Dog. The days are warmer, the walks are longer, and one easy way to help your dog shine this season is with fresh, healthy food from the Farmer's Dog. The Farmer's Dog makes real, fresh dog food and delivers it right to your door. Recipes are developed by vet nutritionists, made from real meat and veggies and portioned just for your dog, making it easy to say goodbye to burnt brown balls and feed your dog real food with real benefits. Stella's a farmer's dog. Blake's a farmer's dog. The Farmer's Dog isn't just fresh, high-quality food. They also send the food pre-proportioned specifically for your dog based on their unique needs. The Farmer's Dog released a new commercial telling the story of a dog's unconditional love for its humans and reminds us that no matter what happens in our day, we can always feel good about doing our best for our canine companions, especially through feeding them Farmer's Dog. Check it out on their Instagram at The Farmer's Dog and get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/PMT to get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Thefarmersdog.com/PMT. We're telling you it's Blake and Stella approved. Treat your dog well with the Farmer's Dog. Your dog deserves it. We're also brought to you by our friends at ourselves. Pardon My Cheesesteak. Football's back in full gear. Ordering Pardon My Cheesesteak for your game day meal or late night eats is the best play call you can make. Pardon My Cheesesteak brings you awesome cheesesteaks and loaded fries delivered right to your doorstep and will be offering free delivery throughout the entire football season. Take your pick of our delicious cheesesteaks made with fresh, thinly sliced steak, melted provolone, mouth-watering cheese sauce, and caramelized onions on a toasted hoagie roll. We have classic cheesesteaks, chipotle cheesesteaks, chicken cheesesteaks, buffalo chicken cheesesteaks, and many, many more. You can order the popular Big Cat Combo. Get your cheesesteak of choice, fries, and a drink. Find Pardon My Cheesesteak near you and order yours now at pardonmycheesesteak.com. Use code AWL for free delivery. Okay, Monday Night Football. Jared Goff was perfect.
He's always been perfect.
But he was extra perfect. He not only went perfect passing, but he caught, which Amon-Ra St. Brown needs more credit. That was maybe the most perfect wide receiver pass I've ever seen. He dropped it in a bucket.
He said that they've called that play a few times and they've always checked out of it. So this is the first time he got to actually execute on it.
Yeah, and Ben Johnson was in his bag.
On that pass play, though, where Jared caught it, Jared explosive off the line.
Yeah.
Elite first 3 steps off the line, ran just slow enough to make the defense think he wasn't going out on a route. It looked like he was just kind of going over to the sideline.
Yeah.
And so he was just open enough to catch it. And then he uncorked some dimes too, hit Jamison downfield. Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the coolest catches I've seen, where it's just his body goes limp in midair.
Yeah.
And then just 2 feet come down perfectly.
Body control, yeah. And I also saw a play that someone did a film review where he had, I think it was Amon-Ra, might have been Laporta. No, I think it was Amon-Ra.
where he runs his route through the C gap. So it's basically they block like it's a running play.
Yeah.
He runs and then does a curl and hits him perfectly. It was Ben Johnson he's a genius.
He is a genius. I also think that the Seahawks are not bad. I think
Agreed.
On the contrary, I think the Seahawks are good.
I was watching.
They had the most first downs in NFL history in a loss last night.
Yeah, I was watching that game. They had a bunch of defensive starters out. It was very clear that they couldn't stop anything the Lions were throwing at them. But I was watching that game being like, Geno looks like totally in control, and it's crazy how much better he looks than the Geno we've known. This is the year of reclaimed quarterbacks. By the way, credit to us. I don't know if you saw, but Memes
just saw that.
posted a quote card from December 7th, 2022.
Never
so
forget.
almost 2 years ago. PFT said, I still believe in Baker Mayfield. This is when they were both on the Panthers, and I said, I'll do you one worse. I still believe in Sam Darnold.
Well, with Baker, I'm not done believing in Baker Mayfield yet. This might be weird. He sucked on the Panthers, but
I'll do one worse.
I like Baker.
I'll do one worse. I'm not done believing in Sam Darnold yet.
You all right?
I mean,
What?
it's stupid.
Yeah.
I know.
That is worse.
I know. That's way worse. So we know ball.
We know ball.
We know
When
ball
you
on
think
this
of
podcast.
December 7th in the United States, I want you to think of one thing and one thing only. That's part of my take.
Yes. But yeah, we came to the same conclusion. The Seahawks, I did not go away from that game being like, man, the Seahawks stink. It was the Seahawks need to get healthy on defense because their offense it almost was like a mirror image with the amount of dudes that you can count on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lockett, DK, Jackson Smith, Charbonnet,
Penei Sewell.
Kenneth Walker,
Yeah.
Penei Sewell, Bobo.
Bobo was great last
Bobo
night,
was
too.
great.
Yeah, Bobo was really good.
And then the Lions have just Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Laporta, like just dudes all across the field. Both those offenses were so much fun to watch, and it was a perfect Monday night game.
Yeah, it was dudes as far as the eye can see. That was the only Monday Night Football game last night.
Yeah.
Which was wonderful.
So
wait, before we get to the other one, there's a very important question I have to ask you about the
Yes,
Detroit Lions.
yes.
Because this is the national conversation that's happening today about them.
Okay.
You, as a father,
Yes.
would you let the Detroit Lions take your family to Disneyland?
No, because I'm not going to take any of my kids to Disney World or Disneyland.
Disneyland, but it's not.
Is that the one in California?
Disneyland is in California.
So then yes,
You would.
maybe
'Cause-
free, and I don't
Are
have
you
to.
sure?
Wait, but
The Lions take them.
I'm going to say no.
Okay. Well, you and Colin Coward agree.
Okay.
Coward was saying that the Lions are a family member, that they were all over the map for a while, and then they got their act together, but he doesn't trust them enough to let the Lions
go to
take his
Disneyland.
kids to Disneyland on a trip.
Okay.
I think I would.
it'd be fun. Yeah,
I think it'd be a great time with Dan Campbell.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you'd be at the front of every line.
You'd probably win all the Carney games.
Yeah, you dominate in that. I think the Lions might be one of the first teams I would allow.
I'm only saying it just because, like I said, I wouldn't. Universal Studios, maybe my kids can go to, but I didn't go to Disney World, so I'm
why
not
should
going.
they?
Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not taking them.
Yeah,
I guess if the Lions take them, it's not me.
I think the Lions would be at least top 3 teams that I would allow.
Would you let the Lions watch your kids for an extended weekend?
What defined extended?
You leave Friday morning, don't get back till they're asleep, so you really see your kids again Monday night. So
Okay.
3 full bedtimes.
Are they at Dan Campbell's house?
No,
And
the
did they
one that
win?
got doxxed.
Okay,
no.
they're not at that one.
No.
Yeah, I'd let the Lions hang out with my kids.
Okay. Would you? Would you let the Lions fuck your girl?
That's the real question we should be asking.
Yeah, Coward kind of missed the mark there. Would you let the Lions fuck your girl on Instagram Live?
If this was no jumper,
Max is saying thumbs down. Pug is in studio. Memes out for a couple days. Pug, would you?
Yes.
you would.
Whoa!
I would never let a team fuck my girl.
yeah, me neither.
That's just how I operate. Kind of old school.
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. You probably get a game ball or something.
Now, Jaden Daniels, on the other hand,
Yeah. The other Monday Night Football game. I think they should always have 2 Monday Night Football games with that type of disparity because it made the Lions-Seahawks game even more enjoyable.
well, I think in this situation it was perfect, but I don't like it. I usually don't like it, but if you're going to do it, have one game that's
The worst.
imminently forgettable.
Yeah.
And then that way, when it's about time for the other game to kick off,
you're like, fuck yeah, I get to watch football now.
All right, I'm going to look right now. Flex scheduling, week 5. What would you? This would be not so bad. We could run it back. Dolphins, Patriots, kick off first on Monday Night Football, and then the Bills, Texans play right after.
That'd be great.
Be great. The Dolphins are a tough watch.
Yeah.
And the Titans are a tough watch, but the Titans compared, especially with Mason Rudolph, the Mason Rudolph makes the Titans at least football adjacent. The Dolphins are,
Yeah, it makes no sense.
What do you mean?
It does, because Huntley doesn't know that offense at all.
Is Tua the most underrated quarterback in the NFL?
I think they should pay him more.
Seriously,
But I feel like if he's a Shanahan disciple, it's like Shanahan is the king of just
but not a quarterback as
kind
much. Kind of.
like he has all the weapons.
No,
and the
but remember
quarterback doesn't matter as much.
Mike Shanahan on the Shanacam said Brock Purdy was the guy right away.
That's true.
They did it with Jimmy G.
True.
Yeah, Purdy makes a big difference there too. They also drafted Trey Lance.
But yeah, the Dolphins are a mess. Is Mike McDaniel coaching for his job?
I don't know. Is he hot seat?
I mean, his job is to coach.
He's in the shade in Miami.
Yeah. He looked bewildered. He looked like he was watching something that he just had no answers to. And shout out all the people who have fantasy players on the Dolphins. That's brutal.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's about to do something weird in the next coming weeks, I'm sure.
It's just a tough watch. And I know that losing your quarterback should, obviously, if you go to your backup quarterback, you're probably already fucked. But I didn't think the Dolphins would be this fucked. I didn't think that their offense it would look this bad. Maybe that's just naive of me, but it's a disaster.
I think if you're Mike McDaniel or you're running an offshoot of the Shanahan offense, you have to have a guy that's your backup that's been with you for a while.
Yeah.
Importing a dude, which they kind of had. They kind of had that.
Why isn't Ryan Tannehill out there?
Yeah, I think with Huntley especially, he is just learning what's going on there and having to do all the motions and stuff. They do a lot of cute stuff in Miami. You have to be very familiar with the cute stuff in order to pull it off.
Trade for Jameis.
Yeah,
imagine Jameis in those teals.
What about Brett Favre?
Brett Favre would be good.
Tebow.
He could do it. Yeah,
you should sign Tebow, Kaepernick, Johnny Manziel, and RG3.
And just see who's the best for it.
And just let us watch those guys play.
Yeah, let us watch the open competition.
Yep.
The Titans are good win. Will Levis, that was a tough clip where he was like, I didn't see the guy.
Yeah, he
at
winced.
All.
He winced on the sidelines.
Well, the wince was his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was tough for our boy Will. So I don't know what the future is. The Titans, they're not a bad team. They just they could win. Here's the question for the Titans, and I think they're gonna have to wrestle with this because I think if you play Mason Rudolph, Will Levis obviously he's not there yet. He's not even close to there yet. It's a work in progress. Do you stick with Will Levis, work in progress, hope that he gets better, and if he doesn't, you're going to be drafting top 5.
That's what they're saying.
Or do you go with Mason Rudolph? And Mason Rudolph, I think, probably wins you 7 games. That's obviously he just won you 1, so I'm saying 6 more.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to get to 8, 9. He's not going to be lighting up the world, but his competency has a floor to it that probably gets them more to the 10th, 15th draft pick.
Yeah, I think Callahan said after the game, Will Levis is our quarterback, which is the second time he said that this year, which is not good that he's had to say it twice.
I think you do. I think that's the right move, though.
He said Will's our quarterback barring injury. So if he's healthy, he's going to play. I think it's the right move too, because what if he figures it out? What if he turns it on the second half of the season, and where things end up okay for the Titans? Then you feel good about going into next year with Will, and you're probably drafting in the middle of the first round. And that's good, but then if it doesn't go well, guess what?
You're going to need a quarter. Yeah, if it doesn't go well, you're wanting a quarterback anyway, and that's where you want to be in the top 5. So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer that you got to stick with Will Levis. Not saying he's played to the point where he keeps it, but I think that's just as an organization, that's the smarter move.
Yeah. Also, we had a moment in that game that left, I think, everybody confused by this.
Yeah.
The onside punt that wasn't in the landing zone. And then that resulted in effectively a 40-yard penalty.
Yeah, shout out everyone who had the under. I feel for you. Life's too short, but that was crazy.
It ended up being 40 yards, right? They got 40 free yards.
So they punted from the 20
I believe so. They punted. They did a safety kick, which you can punt if you want to, but they also declared it to be onside.
And they punted it further than the landing zone.
Yeah, so the strategy on that is to kick it really high in the air and then hope that the other team doesn't call for a fair catch, which is what happened. They didn't call for a fair catch. So the ball lands, the Dolphins recover, and then they throw all the flags. The announcers had no idea what was going on.
The ref had no idea.
They had to figure this shit out.
Mumbled through it.
Also, that ref that did not call the touchdown for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
I think he just turned into a fan.
There was a ref behind him who called it, but yeah, for a catch like that, you need both hands up.
I need to see an emphatic touchdown. Like going back to the 80s. For some reason, I want to say like mid-90s, refs stopped doing like goofy over-the-top emphatic touchdown celebrations and penalty calls. They used to go out there and just like lean back a little bit, slouch their shoulders, and just like throw them up like they were speaking in tongues.
They missed a great opportunity there because the best touchdown ref moment is when they confer and they talk for like 2 seconds and then they both simultaneously do it.
Yeah,
that's the best.
That's a good one.
That's a great shit.
They stole that from us. Never forget what they took from you. But
also, we should have mentioned Kenneth Walker with, the greatest broken tackle of all time. I don't know how his neck is still on.
Yeah, he got double flipped.
They had a wrestling match, a full wrestling match broke out between, was it Anzalone?
I think it was.
And Kenneth Walker, and Kenneth Walker won.
It looked like a Steven Seagal movie where they're doing a keto on each other.
Slow-mo, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then Montgomery had that sick catch and run at the end of the game where he just bounced off 3 dudes.
Yep.
That was a great game. That was a great game of football.
And the Titans, Dolphins. Going back real quick, Mike McDaniel, coach over his job.
I think he might be because he might lose the locker room.
We knew that was a possibility.
He needs to keep eyes on the locker room at all times. He's got to air tag that locker room.
Yeah, I don't want him to lose. I don't want him to lose the locker room. I don't want him to lose his job. I think the league is more fun with Mike McDaniel as a coach, and I still think he's a very good coach. But I think when you're the happy-go-lucky guy and shit goes bad, it could get ugly. It could turn on you fast.
They need a statement win against the Patriots.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be. Wait, what's the? Check out DraftKings. Let's see what's the over under.
Where are they playing?
Yikes, that's a bad game, Hank. Oh.
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it
Where's the
anyway
game?
on DraftKings? Game's in New England.
Okay. I think it's Patriots -1.
Over under.
That's the key.
37.
36 and 35.5.
You were right about the spread. You were right about the over under.
35.5?
Yeah.
We know ball.
Wow, we do know ball. That's gross. That's a gross game.
I think I might have to take the over on that.
I think I might just have to figure out how to bet that game and just be like, gross.
So yeah,
as I say it, I'm just like, ugh.
With McDaniel, it's not. It looks way worse too when you're losing the locker room and the cute plays don't work.
Correct.
You look more incompetent than you really are.
Yes, I am. I'm nervous about the locker room for McDaniel. It's a fair criticism. Yeah. By the way, people were like, hey, we didn't get any Sunday Night Football talk. The Ravens are a wagon. When the Ravens run the ball like that, they're going to be a monster of a team.
And that's a problem with the Bills too. Is their defense not bad, but their defense against the run very bad.
Yeah. So Ravens, we don't usually talk at length about Sunday Night Football, but I think the Ravens are like. That's an 0-2, the team that started 0-2 that I never thought was going to be in trouble. Obviously, the Raiders loss was a weird loss, but we said it, I think, at the time that they were 0-2 and they outgained their opponents by like 100-plus yards both games. That one was always going to turn back for the Ravens are not an 0-2 team. They're a really good team.
That's why they weren't a pinky team. Yeah. Because it has to be a team that you don't think has a chance.
I believe in the Ravens potentially winning a Super Bowl this year. I actually think they absolutely could.
Yeah, and Lamar, so we joked about Lamar losing all that weight because he was a fat ass.
He was super fat.
Well, when he saw, I think it was when Trump got indicted or when he turned himself in, and Trump's height and weight was perfectly matched to Lamar Jackson's.
I thought it was Derrick Henry.
No, it was Lamar.
Okay.
It was Lamar. I think it was 6'3" and 215.
Okay.
And Lamar saw that and he was like, fuck, I got to lose some weight.
I got to get in shape.
And so he lost weight. I didn't think there was anything wrong with him, but just by watching the games, I feel like
Lamar, Trump or Lamar?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I think they're both healthy as oxes.
Yeah.
Lamar is faster than he was. I think he's faster than he was last year.
I'd agree.
He was like very shifty last year. He was doing a lot of those start-stop things, super elusive. But this year, I feel like he's got the Jets again.
Yeah, I do too. And they have so many weapons. They have dudes.
Except for Justin Tucker, who's washed.
Yeah, very washed. Beyond washed.
I'd be concerned.
Should we talk a little college ball? Let's talk a little college ball. We're going to talk some more college ball with Booger in a minute. But let's talk some college ball. We have to start. The number one story is obviously that Georgia-Bama game was fucking incredible. A big fuck you to everyone who said that college football regular season doesn't matter anymore and you won't get big games, because that scene in Tuscaloosa on Saturday night. Oh, the playoff. Oh, this. You can't replicate that.
Yeah, and you know what I loved about that game? I love the fact that we got the viral moments, the crowd shots of the sad fans, but we got them on both sides.
Yes.
And you never see that in a game.
Oh, the video that's going around of Georgia's sideline going nuts after they scored to go ahead with like 2.5 minutes left, and then Ryan Williams scoring. And Ryan Williams, I don't understand his body control, his ball skills. He looked like he was in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I like the back to you're back to the defender with the ball. You should never do that. Like he stood there making a low post move, and then still it worked.
He did like a spin move with part of his body in the air.
He did a fake.
And then the rest of his body on the ground. He looked like a cat.
Yeah.
Like when you drop a cat from
I'm not
10
even
feet in the air.
I'm not even talking about that one. I'm talking about the earlier one where he basically did the Hakeem Dream Shake.
Yeah. So
it was like, what are you doing, dude? This is how you get killed on an SEC field. And that goes for Jalen Milroe too, just running sideways on an SEC field.
Yeah, but that last catch that he had was one of the most athletic things I've ever seen in my entire life. He's 17. People forget that he's 17 years old.
17.
And after the game, he changed his profile picture to a picture of Mike Vick holding a dog.
Oh, that's sick.
Because they just beat the dogs.
They did just beat the dogs.
Yeah.
Also, he had the eye black kill everybody. People were getting upset about that.
The program.
It's the program. It's the program, so just shut the hell up. It's the program. It also is just an awesome thing to have on your eye black.
Yeah, if you actually got upset about that, memes yourself.
Yeah. Memes yourself. Did you guys see Max, I just sent it to you. I'm sending you 2 clips. I should have sent it to you before. Bad job by me. The Japanese announcers calling that final.
No, I didn't see that.
It's awesome. Everything's better when the Japanese announcers are going nuts.
That reminds me, I actually did, I watched with the sound on for part of the Dolphins-Titans game as the other game was on. But my hack to that, if you're watching bad football, watch it on ESPN Deportes.
Oh.
Because it added a little spice to it. And when the announcers are like going a mile a minute speaking in Spanish and then stop to overpronunciate storm duck and then go back, it's electric. It's great TV.
His name's not spelled like that weirdo Rosillo. What are you doing?
Did he spell Ryan Williams R-Y-E-N?
Yeah, he did. Max just did.
It got the job done.
Okay, all right. Play it.
追い上げる先ほどはオーバーテイク取りを見せたさあ今度はどういうことになりますか川端が見えてきてぴったりと斉藤がうわークラッシュうわーものすごいクラッシュとんでもない
I don't know if someone just dubbed this over for a different call, which could have very well, I could have gotten duped. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
I don't care.
I want to listen to more American sports highlights in other languages.
Yes.
They're better.
Yes. So that game was incredible. I do think... And Booger, well, I'll save it for Booger because we have a discussion about does Kirby Smart have an Alabama problem. They're 1-6 against Alabama under Kirby Smart. Kalen DeBoer needs a ton of credit because his teams, something about Kalen DeBoer, like you've seen it in these big games, they're always ready to go. Mm-hmm. And they jumped on him. Now, they also give up leads, but they jumped on him so fast. It was awesome. Awesome game. And now Georgia... They got to win. They have Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas. You got to probably go 2-1 in that.
Yeah, in a weird way, I don't think I'm any more confident or less confident in either Alabama or Georgia after this game. Because it was 2 halves. Alabama's first half, best team in the country. Georgia's second half, best team in the country.
Right. Like Georgia coming back gets credit because you thought they were just dead. But the margin for error now for Georgia is a lot smaller.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Big Cat.
Yeah.
Was Nick Saban holding Alabama back?
He might have been.
Was Nick Saban the problem?
He might have been.
Are they better without Nick Saban?
I'm addicted to Nick Saban shots during the game where he just looks miserable, and it's the greatest game we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's losing their minds, and he just looks disgusted because it's probably like, you know, the cornerback opened his hips a little too quickly.
It's just
on the other side of the field, not even the side where the pass was completed.
It's just bad football.
Yeah.
Him. He just sees that and he goes, "Yeah, this is just not enjoyable to watch." What kind of game do you think would be enjoyable for Nick Saban to watch? Like a 14-14 game, good tackling, 3.3 yards a carry, not doing anything crazy out there.
Yeah. Just
I feel
control
like
the line of
Andy Reid,
scrimmage.
he probably loves Maction.
Yeah.
That
punt when you need to punt.
That Frank Beamer clip where it's a 0-0 tie, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest. At the end of the game, he's celebrating.
Yeah. No, Maction's too much for Maction would be too much for Saban because there's too many mistakes.
He probably wants to watch
Army Navy.
Army Navy would be, that's primo.
I think
ball.
Belichick might like that one a lot. I think Saban would love what's that college in Ohio? The like real small one. That's John Carroll.
Yeah.
He would like watching a John Carroll Holy Cross game.
Yeah.
That's football.
By the way, Navy is really good. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
And I think they play Ohio State in a couple weeks, which should be fun because you never know.
Never know.
Also, should we actually hire Connor Stallions? Because he did hit me up.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Is the high school season not going well?
No, he said when the high school season's over, he's like, I'll have a couple months. I think we have to.
I think we got to hire him.
Just hire him as our like Secret Service for PMT.
We got to hire him, have him scope out new heights, figure out how we can take that motherfucker out.
Just check out, see what like Subway's doing with their cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Go test a bunch of cheesesteaks, a bunch of coffees. I think we have to, right?
I would love that. He shows up in the background on the McAfee show wearing those sunglasses.
He could sit like on the other side of where Meme sits, so we can barely see him, but he can chime in whenever he wants.
Also, people aren't going to fuck with us if we got him.
No, definitely
They
not.
know better. He'll write a manifesto on you.
All right, so
Actually,
I'll follow up.
We'll hire him if his cover letter to us is a manifesto.
Okay, I'll tell him that. I'll tell him that. All right, so now is the portion of the show that we hype up Travis Hunter. What is he Heisman now on DraftKings?
He was down to plus 750 the other day. I don't
realized
know what he's
that.
at now.
I forgot. I got a 40.
40? That's nice.
40.
I got it at 20. He is the best football player in the country.
So I want to play this clip real quick. This was before the game against UCF where UCF was a 14-point favorite, and Urban Meyer basically said Travis Hunter isn't going to be able to handle the heat. Now, mind you, Travis Hunter plays at high altitude, but how stupid can you be, Urban?
Where's he from?
He's from Florida, I believe. He might be from Georgia.
No, he's from Florida.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's from Florida.
I think Urban just couldn't.
So that
handle
makes
the
no
heat.
sense.
Urban's like
double no sense.
Double no sense.
How is he going to be able to take losses? Probably not well. He probably won't feel good after losses and have panic attacks.
All right, so play this clip. Okay, so how much did it affect Travis Hunter? How about this? 128 snaps, 9 catches, 89 yards, a touchdown, and then an interception and a pass defense, 2 tackles.
And he could have had more yards receiving too. Deion took him out of the game.
Wow, did that really affect Travis Hunter? 128 snaps in the big, bad Florida heat. The dude is just different. He should be your Heisman. He's incredible.
Also, Brandon Marshall saying he got 6 IVs during a game is kind of wild.
Yeah,
that's too many IVs.
That's kind of addicted to IVs.
That's too many IVs.
Yeah.
He's currently 3rd in Heisman betting.
Yeah,
at 7-1.
Yeah, and
so
this was a big win for Colorado because this was a game that everyone thought they would lose. They're now 4-1. I know they still have a tough Big 12 schedule. And again, we're not even talking about Deion or Shedeur. We're just a Travis Hunter podcast.
Yeah,
that's it.
Travis Hunter
deserves the respect.
He might be the best college football player I've ever seen.
Yeah,
how about that?
I'll
take it one further.
PFT, let's play a quick game. What dumb thing did Hugh Freeze say this week?
He said, I don't think Freeze can handle the heat.
Freeze can handle the heat. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I like that. He should actually do that because he can't. So Hugh Freeze, who's won everywhere, first time he's having a little resistance. Things are not going well. He's maybe the worst loser of all time. He said after his loss to Oklahoma, which they probably should have won that game, they were up. He said, I won't comment on what happened before I was here, the roster, what it was. Everybody can make their own determination on that, on how many people left in the recruiting rankings and what was brought in, which is literally commenting on it. And then he said, I think you all are aware of what we inherited. Our AD has done a marvelous job of explaining that. He did to me before I took the job, with the previous recruiting classes not being what you need to compete at a high level, and 57 transfers out in my previous 3 years before my arrival. and then said saying how something really is, he keeps getting blamed for throwing people under the bus.
Yeah, I don't know why he keeps getting blamed for that. This is like when Doug Peterson said, the time for speeches are over.
Yeah.
No more rah-rah, and then proceed to give a speech.
I'm not going to talk about what happened before I got here, but the recruits suck, and the guys I'm coaching right now suck, and I'm throwing my entire team under the bus because they suck. It's not my fault. I'm fucking Hugh Freeze.
I don't make excuses for things. I'm not sitting here counting the number of transfers that we've had leave. We had 57 transfers out in the previous 3 years before my arrival, but that's not something I spend time considering.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze. Listen, Hugh, if things aren't going for you, just start cheating.
Yeah. You've
done it before.
Yeah, you've done the first part. Blame everyone else.
Yep.
So there's back-to-back weeks where he said that he 9 times out of 10 they beat Arkansas. And then this week he's like, look, I'm not going to talk about the situation here, but the situation is terrible and everyone that they recruited before me sucks. And now I have a job of coaching sucky players. And oh yeah, after this press conference, I'm going to go give a speech to these sucky players and tell them, hey, I need you to fucking die for me.
I have a question for you, Big Cat.
Yeah.
Whose job is it to make players better at playing football?
The
previous coach.
Oh, I thought you said the AD.
No,
okay, all right.
The coach that they had before you coached.
You could see how I get confused. Usually the AD is the one who's making them better.
This is the year where he has to take all the coaches all the players that were coached wrong and undo all that bad coaching.
Yes.
And then next year he actually gets to build them back up again.
Hugh Freeze, what an idiot.
Yeah. He's lost a lot of weight. Is he on Ozempic?
He must be.
I think he's thinned out a little bit.
Yeah, or it's just the losses. He's got the Urbanish situation where losses just take so much out of him that he loses weight.
You should watch that Aaron Hernandez show, by the way.
Is it good?
No, it's one of the worst shows I've ever seen, but I can't stop watching
I figured it would probably not be the best.
The guy they have playing Urban Meyer he's like a cartoon villain version of Urban Meyer, who's also kind of a cartoon villain.
Okay,
so
of Urban Meyer.
It's excellent, yeah.
Other big one was Kentucky. Shout out Big Blue Nation. Going to Ole Miss, beating Ole Miss after they wiped the floor with their non-conference schedule. Ole Miss back into the SEC. Like, this is what happens.
Yeah, listen, Kentucky almost did this to Georgia. I don't think that they've got their offense is kind of weird. I'll tell them that. Their offense, not great. But Mark Stoops, great coach, and Ole Miss thought that they maybe were going to be ranked in the top 5. Doesn't look good for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, does not look good.
But he is in that perfect spot where if he has 2 losses this year, that's great for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, that's probably a playoff berth.
That's what he does. Lane Kiffin's going to get you some high-scoring games. He's going to have a quarterback that's in the Heisman discussion at least through halfway through the season, and then he's not going to win a championship.
Yeah, and here's the other thing about Lane Kiffin where he's in a really nice spot. So they have LSU, Oklahoma, and Georgia, both at home. So, I mean, if they have 2 losses, they probably will still be in the playoff because that would mean they beat at least one of those teams.
Yeah.
Not the strongest of wins, but still I think that a 2-loss SEC team would probably go to the playoff. But Lane Kiffin's in a good spot because no matter how the season goes, he's going to get a raise because Florida's open.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether he stays or leaves, he's getting more money. No matter what.
Yeah, that's a built-in raise whenever a big school like that opens.
Yeah, they want it. Everyone in Florida wants him very bad, and yeah, that would be the raise. Did you have a feeling one way or the other about Miami's the end of Miami game, whether he caught it or not?
I thought yes, I did. I had a couple of thoughts when I first watched it, and I watched the replay. I thought touchdown. Then I thought, what are the refs thinking right now? And I don't think the refs wanted to give Virginia Tech that win and then have to leave the stadium in Miami.
See, I watched it and I was like, I don't think this is a touchdown in any world. It's just the ball's moving, guys are out of bounds. The one thing that I took away from it, we lean way too much on, it's not enough to overturn it.
Yeah.
As if a bad call can't be overturned just because that was the call on the field.
Yeah, I do think though whatever they called on the field was going to stay.
I watched the replay. I was like, no, this was not a completion. Like, it was a crazy play, but it was just not a completion.
It was so close. I watched it probably like 6 times. However many times they showed the replay live, I stared at the TV and I watched all of them. And I wasn't sure, but I thought it was a catch. Yeah. I thought, like, we're watching it right now. Also, it's just way more fun if it's a catch. That was part of it.
It would have been the most Miami loss.
And now we've got Miami at Cal, Game day going to Cal.
Love it.
I saw somebody, I forget who it was. I want to give him credit if I can track this down. Somebody said that they should sell T-shirts like Catholics versus convicts.
Yeah.
But have it say woke versus Coke.
Ooh, I like that.
I feel like that would be a really good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, I don't think he had it long enough. It just always was moving. Who knows? But that was nice controversy on a Friday night. And then, the Big 12 is wide open, which we expected, but it's more wide open than we even expected because Utah lost at home to Arizona, which Cam Rising, just fucking play football, please.
Is there a possibility that the group of 5 school doesn't get the 12 spot but gets the 11 spot?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
Thinking Dukes?
It's too early for that, but yeah, I'm definitely thinking
UNLV, Hodge was awesome.
I think if it's an undefeated Dukes, undefeated UNLV, it'll go to UNLV.
I would agree with that because UNLV has played will probably end up playing more big boys, I believe.
Slightly bigger boys.
They're playing a little bit bigger of boys.
Sunbelt's boys are not as big this year.
Well, UNLV also went to Kansas when they were ranked, and they beat Houston at Houston. So the boys they're playing are slightly larger.
Yeah,
Kansas wasn't ranked. That was their bowl game.
We thought UNC was going to be big boys.
Yeah.
And UNC, well, we did retire Mac Brown.
Yeah, true.
We made him quit.
And UNLV still has Syracuse, a slightly bigger boy, and Oregon State, a slightly bigger boy.
But if you want to talk about teams that are playing with a bunch of just little children out there, Liberty. If Liberty goes undefeated, and then there's a one-loss UNLV, I feel like you still got to put UNLV in.
Yeah, I'd agree. Especially with their backup. This is like such a great story. It would be, I feel like college football would want it too, being like, NIL doesn't matter.
Yeah, or Boise State. We should throw them in there too because they have maybe the best player in college.
Ashton Genty.
One of the best players.
He's
in college
the second best player, but he's not close enough to be considered for Heisman because only Travis Hunter should.
Right.
But yeah, Genty's got video game numbers. He basically is playing, when you play college football and you're like, all I'm going to do is just try to get my guy the Heisman, like go out at the one on an interception so you can get him more touchdowns. He has, through 5 games, 82 carries, 845 yards, 13 touchdowns.
It's crazy. And he's broken 200 yards a couple times. What was his high game there?
He had a crazy one that was...
They look like Barry Sanders.
Yeah. He's just, he breaks, and it's just great because you, like on a Saturday, you're watching all this football, it gets late in the day, it's evening time, and then you just see a clip pop up, and it's just Genty breaking like an 80-yard touchdown.
I've got some advice for our listeners, and you can take it or leave it, but this weekend in college football might be the perfect weekend to be available to do any chores.
You think
go
it's
on
apple
all
picking?
dates.
Apple picking weekend?
Go apple picking.
Yeah.
Go to the mall, run some errands.
Apple picking weekend.
I feel like this is the weekend to do it because you're going to want to build up all that stock for October 12th.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball, though.
Playoff baseball, that's true. That's a good point, Max.
Playoff baseball, good point.
But this weekend is one. It's like the meme. She's like, I think he's probably just thinking about college football. And the guy's like, no, I'm thinking about how to make her think I don't care about college football this weekend.
Yeah, there's no college football on this weekend.
Yeah, start planning that shit out right now.
Yeah. Okay. Should we do Hot Seat Cool Throne? And then we can get to our great interview with Booger. We're going to talk a little more college football with Booger and some NFL as well. Hot Seat Cool Throne brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Half the fun of watching college football is predicting which rivals win every week. Coors Light teamed up with DraftKings for the free-to-play college football pick'em pools where you pick winners for a chance to win big. When the game is on the line, it's time to choose chill and then choose an ice-cold Coors Light when you're looking to keep it chill. There's only one beer to choose. Coors Light, the mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold, so you know when your mountain cold refreshment is ready for you. When things heat up, it's a good time to choose chill and then crack open a Coors Light. Make your heated picks with Coors Light and DraftKings. Choose chill and enjoy refreshing Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. 21 plus eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/Coors Light Pick'em. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Henry.
My hot seat is anyone who drafted Christian McCaffrey in fantasy.
So,
he has double Achilles tendonitis.
Is he going to retire?
What do you think, Hank?
I think he is.
You.
No, Hank's been saying no.
I saw a clip on Bussin' of Whitney talking about someone.
And then he
saying
talked about it on our podcast.
Yep.
The walls at Barstool Sports have been saying if you walk down the hallway, there's like one specific spot. It's right after Max's desk, right before you get to Mr. Pear, where there's a guy who's got sunglasses on because he was just probably golfing, and he's like, I'm hearing Christian McCaffrey might retire.
So
That's the wall. The wall is talking.
double Achilles tendonitis is not good, and then having one that's worse than the other, that's doubly worse.
Oh, is that true?
That's what I think Schefter reported.
You mean the Ultimate Insider?
Yeah. So he's been dealing with 2 Achilles, but it's been fine because they've both been hurting the same way.
God.
And now one's a little bit worse, and that's what the German doctor's looking at.
Hank?
It
The
feels
walls?
like you're definitely not playing this season.
Should we credit the walls?
No, because
Does the wall want credit?
The Walls doesn't want credit, but he feels like it's going to happen.
Are you talking about the VP debate tonight?
No. We're talking about the wood walls.
Oh, the wooden walls. Okay.
The wooden walls with locks on them.
No, because the Walls, they didn't want to report it publicly, so it's like
Right.
they like to whisper to people walking by, but there's no point in asking for credit after if you didn't report it before.
Yeah.
Now, where
But
did
it's nice, I'm sure the Wall's like, damn.
Yeah, the walls like,
was
damn,
all over
I
it.
was
The
I was
walls were
ahead of
all
this.
over it, yeah.
Big time ahead of this.
So where do you think the walls heard it from? Because somebody would have to tell it to the walls.
Probably just some random guy.
Yeah, probably just some random guy. Probably opened up like a candy bar like an O. Henry, and it was just written on there.
Yeah.
When did the Walls hear about this?
A week ago.
Week 2.
Week 2.
It was before he went to Germany and before the
Yeah,
Achilles
everything
tendonitis.
that's happened since the walls.
Like the Walls was laughed at when he said it.
Right, everything that's happened since the walls said that Christian McCaffrey is contemplating retirement has made it look like the walls are stronger than ever.
Now, have the walls heard anything from our good friend Mike Florio about any sort of legal recourse that could happen for fantasy football owners who might have drafted this player?
The Walls is not a fan of Mike Florio and thinks he's fake news and a fraud and a
Right, fan fiction
fictionist.
about what team?
Just a lot of teams. Started
Name
with the
a team.
Patriots,
Oh, okay, the
Patriots,
Patriots.
Jets. So I don't think the Walls is too worried about Mike Florio.
Is the walls known for throwing darts
Not yet.
on the course, on the golf course.
on the golf course, but not? I'm talking about like stories. Like you don't just throw stuff at the wall see if it sticks.
If the walls could dunk.
Was there a hole in this wall that was about 8 inches off the ground?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, he's definitely not going to play this year. And it sucks.
Wait,
like,
whoa,
wait, is
whoa,
that- is
whoa,
that the
whoa!
Walls
Is that
reporting
an
this?
actual report?
No, that's just Henry Lockwood. Remove the wall from the conversation. That's just me. After seeing the report that was actually reported, if you have double Achilles tendonitis, it seems impossible that you'd come back this year. So that's just my take.
Okay, from no medical
That's not
background.
a report. No,
Do you know
that's
what?
not a report nor a rumor.
Do you know what tendonitis is?
Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah.
I just know from all the things I've read, like it's impossible to come back from
Okay.
quickly on one, let alone two.
Yeah, double.
And double, it seems like if it's like, if you have it, I don't know, so I'm sure people will get mad at me for this, but it feels like if you have one bad Achilles tendonitis, you can like have a boot or walk around and kind of like crutches or whatever. If you have both,
What do you do?
yeah.
But if you have two, do you have one? Because the whole thing about
Yeah, well, it's just your whole life is pain.
But when you say like my Achilles heel is this one thing, it's because you have one issue. Everything else is great. So if you have two of them, is that even bad?
Or you're in double the amount of pain.
Yeah, you might just be in double.
So
It
Chris
causes-
McCaffrey's just walking around in a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Occurs when the tendon that connects the back of your leg to your heel becomes swollen and painful near the bottom of the foot. It causes swelling and pain.
And if you don't let it fully heal, it's very easy to tear.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Has he considered not being a pussy?
Has he considered suing the walls?
No, the walls didn't say anything.
All right. What's your cool throne?
My cool throne is Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
I had him
Happy
too.
birthday. Is today a wake up day?
100th
Gotta
birthday?
be.
You got to
First
wake up.
Has to wake up.
president to live to 100.
He's going to get all up in
Wow.
that cake today. This is Jimmy's big day.
Wow. What's the weird stat? Who's the first president to be born in a hospital? Was it George H.W. Bush?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Obama?
No, you're thinking of Kenya.
First president to be born in a hospital. Or was it Jimmy Carter? Yeah, it was Jimmy Carter.
It was. So
that's crazy.
Jimmy's 100. Wild that he lived to 100, and then he's the first president to do that, considering how bad it ages you. But he was only in office for 4 years.
Yeah.
We can say Jimmy Carter, he was president of the United States. Much better human being. He's an all-time human being.
Yeah.
Bad
Well, we
president?
don't know.
Not saying
Is he
he's a bad
still?
president?
I didn't say that.
Is he still a human being? Because he doesn't wake up.
I think he is a human. I don't know if being's the right word.
I think you have to wake up.
he's a human. He's a human existence.
I hope that he woke up today. I really do.
Yeah, I hope he did.
It would
I hope
suck if he didn't wake up.
Big T always says that Jimmy, he was put into hospice, like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago? His
He's
health
just
has been bad for a while.
He's been beating the fuck out of hospice.
But it's because he stopped building houses.
Yep.
He got off roofs.
Need to get him back on the roof.
Maybe.
Get him back on the
Congrats,
roof.
Jimmy.
Congrats, Jimmy.
You made it.
Good job, Hank. On both the Christian McCaffrey report and Jimmy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I'll tell the walls.
Okay.
My hot seat is Woj because, as we speculated, the torch might be getting passed to Adam Schefter, which is crazy. If you're Adam Schefter, don't you enjoy NBA because you get to put your phone down for a little bit?
No PFT.
He is addicted to it.
No PFT.
He can't stop breaking news. So
Listen.
Schefter might take over as the NBA insider. On ESPN.
No. The ultimate insider.
The ultimate
That's
insider.
how it was reported, and that's why, because I thought the same thing. I was like, Shefty, what are you doing, man? You're going to spend the rest of your life with your phone up to the glass every time you shower? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But if ESPN comes to him and says, hey, Schefter, open this envelope, and inside it just says Ultimate Insider, you have to take that.
You have to get an office with a door just so you can put Ultimate Insider on
Ultimate Insider.
Adam Schefter's becoming his own social media platform.
Yeah.
And you post on it by being an agent and calling Adam Schefter and giving him the scoop, and then he just puts that out, and if you subscribe to Adam Schefter, he should do his own app.
Yeah. What a source, by the way, that is. So the front office sports said exclusive Adam Schefter could be a candidate to replace Woj as ESPN's senior NBA insider. In this scenario, Schefter would cover both the NFL and NBA as what a source called the ultimate insider. That source, Adam Schefter.
I love the
100%. He said, hey, they're talking about me being the ultimate insider.
I love the fact that there's an Adam Schefter for Adam Schefters out there that broke this news.
Yeah, but it was Adam Schefter.
Yeah, so
Let's just send it to them.
He's a one-man show, man.
I mean, I hope we can get him still on the show if he becomes the ultimate insider. Yeah, you just do it for the ultimate insider title. There's nothing you can do. When someone says, hey, you want to be the ultimate insider? Fuck yes, I do.
Is he going to do news now? Is he going to do, he's going to replace CNN?
Everything. He's the ultimate insider. Okay. Good job. Cool Throne? Oh, Cool Throne.
My Cool Throne was going to be Jimmy Carter.
Congrats to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. Should I do my Firefest right now? Because it happened today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Firefest. I won't do one on Friday, but this morning we came into the office a little bit early. Had to get here at 9 a.m. We were doing a commercial shoot, and so I get in my car, start up the El Camino, running beautifully as always, and I never take the highway to go to work.
This is the part that confused me.
In the El Camino, I never take the highway. I usually take a back road for many reasons. Number one, just being on the highway with that car. If I have to go fast, sometimes it's a little dicey, but I got on the highway. Traffic
was there a thought beforehand? I'm just
was there?
highway?
Was there like a 1 second oh shit, this is a bad idea? Highway?
No. So I take it on the highway a lot, but it's just it's cooler to drive it around at 35 miles per hour.
I also have a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Max.
Is the Camino the everyday car? I feel like it's the everyday car.
It has been in the summer. Yeah.
It is
the
since
fall.
October.
Well, I had it for July, August, September. Ran beautifully all 3 of those months. I was on a nice little hot streak. Got the license plate. Everything's looking good on it. It's been in good shape. I get it on the highway. I took the highway this morning because it was about 7 minutes faster. And I figured, okay, I'll use those 7 minutes. Probably not a bad idea to take it on the highway, which I've done before. And I get about halfway to the office, and I'm in the middle lane. And the car just turns off. It just shuts down. And traffic is pretty bad at this point. It's not super bad, but it's bad. I can't change lanes. I'm going up a hill. I've only got probably 20, 30 more feet left of coasting in front of me, and I can't move the car at all. And it just stops and it dies. And if you live in Chicago and you're going east on 90 on Tuesday morning, I would like to take out a full page ad on part of my take and apologize to you because I was the reason for the traffic jam because it died in the middle of the fucking highway today.
Max can attest to this. I was walking around the office, not saying, God damn it, why did PFT take the El Camino? I just was going around just to everyone be like, why the fuck is he on 90? I was just so mad. I was like, why did he do that?
Yeah, I'd never do it. I never do it unless it's like super early where it saves me 10 minutes or if it's late at night, I'll take the highway sometimes. But it was a nightmare. Having your car die in the middle of the highway.
In rush hour.
And then I start
You're a piece of shit.
I was a piece of shit this morning. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's been running perfectly. And then I had people going around me, and once every 2 minutes, a car would stop as they're going around me, roll their window down, and be like, "Hey, PFT."
Oh.
And I'd be like, I can't like wave at them. I'm just like sitting there being miserable.
This gives me anxiety, you just telling the story.
I was
like,
sitting there
it's
sweating.
brutal.
I tried to listen to a podcast just to take my mind off it, but then I felt guilty about listening to a podcast as I'm waiting for the tow truck. It was too busy for me to get out of the car and push it to the side. And then eventually a very nice dude in a cement mixer stopped, parked across 2 lanes of traffic, got out, and he's like, "Hey, put it in neutral." I put it in neutral. He pushed it. I rolled it to the side of the road.
Physically or in the cement mixer truck?
No, physically. Just gave it a shove. Then I'm on the side of the road.
So you could have done that.
No, it was not safe for one person. I couldn't,
Got it. Yeah,
I couldn't
that
get
makes
out,
sense.
push it, get back in, and drive it because
you couldn't go straight with the whip.
No, because also traffic was going at that point almost full speed around me because they get next to me.
He gave
then
you a
they'd
block.
Swerve off. He blocked. Yeah, he's my fullback, and so he shoves me. Then I'm sitting on the side of the road. I've got AWLs that are stopping, pulling over for a picture.
We have an interview coming up.
We've got an interview coming up, and I'm just sitting there, and there's
An ad deal.
We had a commercial.
ad deal. And in the past, I've not taken the El Camino if it's a long trip or if it's something that we know that we absolutely cannot be late for. But I have driven it to the office every day for like the last 3 months, and it's been perfect. And so yeah, it got towed up to the shop, and I think this is God telling me I can't have it all.
No, you just can't drive it after summer.
Yeah, October.
That was the problem. It's probably it was like 60 degrees this morning.
It's a September
It's
car.
too cold. Man.
I still got Jaden, which is nice.
Yeah. All right. My cool throne was going to be Schefter becoming the Ultimate Insider. I had just a hot seat real quick before we get to Booger. And this comes from Chi Sox fan Mike. This is a tweet from October 1st, 2023. So exactly 1 year ago today.
Okay.
He said, "Thank you to all my White Sox Twitter friends for sharing another season of Sox baseball with me. This was the worst season I can remember, but the good news is that next year can't be any worse." It got way worse. It got way worse.
I don't think it can get worse than this.
Jerry Reinsdorf could do that. I don't know if you guys read that article. So the White Sox they won 60 games last year. They won 41 this year. So it got way worse.
If they lose more games next year, I will eat human shit.
Okay.
I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Jerry Reinsdorf, the story in The Athletic detailing just everything about the White Sox organization was insane. He is such a shithead. They have a plane that only has 8 first-class seats for a Major League Baseball club. They also have to outsource their own analytics. They said that some of the guys, teams are obviously so advanced in analytics now in baseball. There was an anonymous source that was, I think, in their farm system, and the coaching staff on his exit interview before the season ended, they told him in the offseason he has to work on his command.
If you want to get really mad, just think about how much money Jerry Reinsdorf has made on that team this year.
He bought the team for, I think it was like a bushel of blueberries and $19 million.
Yeah, and it still makes money, and he doesn't have to spend money on it.
And you know what's the craziest part? If you ask Jerry Reinsdorf, he says this on the record.
Yeah.
He cares more about the White Sox than the Bulls.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part. That is his favorite. Baseball is his favorite sport in the entire world. And he's this much of a shithead.
What does he like about baseball? What does he like about the
Crack
White
of the
Sox
bat.
when lose this many games.
The lack of analytics.
Nobody got shot this year at a White Sox game this year, right?
It's a White Sox Dave, yeah, with their belly fat.
The belly fat, yeah, smuggled the pistol in.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for White Sox fans.
It's brutal, but
dark.
it's just Jerry Reinsdorf's a piece of shit, and he just he's a monster. He's an absolute monster.
Isn't there a for the betterment of baseball clause?
There should
Isn't
be.
that? I think that's something that the commissioner has for the good of the game. You can step in and make Jerry sell the team.
Take it away.
But
Yeah.
then if he sells the White
So
Sox,
it's the 7th Amendment or something? What is that?
25th.
25th
Amendment.
Yeah.
But if he sells the team, then the Bulls become his favorite team, and then he'll put all that losing energy into the Bulls.
I think the White Sox still would be his favorite team.
he'd still show up.
Yeah, he'd still show up. They said that he has a secret door in his suite that goes to the analytics department, which is just one guy with like a mouse on a wheel.
Is Jerry Reinsdorf a better owner or a human being?
I guess human being. Yeah. Yeah. As of right now.
I don't know.
Yes,
championships.
2005.
Yeah.
I mean, he got Michael Jordan.
7.
What?
The White Sox won.
05.
Yeah, count
So
the
7.
rings.
Yeah.
I think he might be a better owner.
He might be a better owner.
I think he's a better owner than a human
He
being.
could be, and he's a really bad owner, yeah. All right. Let's get to our interview with Booger. Before we do that, PFT, you got a quick ad?
I do, yeah. Before we get to our good friend Booger McFarland, it's brought to you by by Thursday Night Football on Amazon. This week, we got a great game coming up. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we have the revamped Atlanta Falcons. NFC South. Join Al, Kirk, Kaylee Hartung for this crucial divisional matchup. It's only on Prime Video. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party, TNF Tonight, live from Atlanta. Carissa Thompson hosting it. I'm excited to watch this game. Baker and Kirk going at it. Two pretty fun teams to watch, I'd say, on primetime. Are the Falcons going to give the ball to Bijan? Are they going to stay on Algier? Who knows? Younghoe Koo. Superstars. If you're not a Prime member, it's not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. It's the Bucs and the Falcons, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday Night Football, and it's on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details. Watch Thursday Night Football. You're going to watch it. You can't stop watching football. Football's the best. Enjoy it. And now, here's Booger.
Okay, we now welcome on our very, very good friend, very special guest. He knows everything about college, NFL. It is Booger McFarland. You can see him on ESPN. Boog, thank you for joining us. I love when you come on in the fall because we can talk both college and NFL. Which would you like to start with? Because I have questions for both.
I'd like to start with pro because that allows us to get to the Washington Commanders, and I know one half of you are really excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm very
all right,
excited.
so let's do it.
I'm
So-
happy all the time, Boog. It's
so-
amazing. Like, my entire mood has changed just watching football this year.
All right, so let's start with that. What is the ceiling for the Washington Commanders this season? Because it feels like it's been adjusted to they might be the best team in the NFC East.
Yeah, I think it's two parts to that. One, the Philadelphia Eagles, there's something going on in their locker room. Like, if you look at their last 10 or so games, like they've only won like 2 out of their last 10 or something like that. Jalen Hurts is talking about he and the coach are, kind of sometimes get along, sometimes they don't. The defensive line seems to be out of shape. They're nowhere near what they were during their Super Bowl year. There's something amiss there. And Dallas can't get out of their own way. Plus, Michael Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence are injured. And outside of CeeDee Lamb, who is Dak throwing the football to?
Yeah.
And the Giants are the Giants. And you couple all of that with the fact that Jaden Daniels looks to be not just the best rookie quarterback. He's among the top 15 quarterbacks in football with the way he's taking care of the football, his accuracy, and the dynamic feature that he brings with his legs. So it's early. I do caution PFT with that. It's early.
Mm-hmm.
But the Washington Commanders look like the best team in the NFC East right now.
Okay,
Yeah, I was thinking back to the last time I was this happy as a Commanders fan. It was probably towards the end of the 2012 season when RG3 went on that run. But people forget that when we started that season, RG3 had a great first game, no doubt about it, against the Saints, and he was a solid quarterback in the first half of the season too. But the team wasn't that great. I think we started out 3-6. This seems to be like, if I were to compare that season with this year, I think Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback right now than RG3 was in 2012, at least through 4 games. I think what he's doing is a little bit more sustainable than what Griffin did back in 2012. I know that Kyle Shanahan kind of changed the offense at that point and installed some stuff we haven't seen. But I am also guarding myself against the fact that the first 4 defenses that we played against haven't been that great. And I don't know if they haven't been that great because they played against us or if it's just the Commanders are beating up on relatively easy defenses. So you tell me, do you think what Jaden's doing, is that a model for a sustainable quarterback in the NFL?
Absolutely, because there's a couple of differences and a couple of reasons why it's sustainable. And they're kind of one and the same. If you remember RG3, early on, he wowed you with his legs. Like there was a 50 or 60-yard run in there somewhere. Jaden is yet really to break one of those 50, 60-yard Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson runs. Everything he's doing right now is with his arm and his poise. And I think, number 2, doesn't he seem like he's just moving in slow motion, like he's having fun, like he's calm, like the game's not too fast for him? And to me, that's the sign of somebody that understands the offense that he's in. He understands what his role is, and he knows that he's got some playmakers in Terry McLaurin, and he's able to get the football to them. And so there are some subtle differences, but I think you look at his accuracy. I think he's 79, 80% completion percentage. I think you couple that with just his poise and demeanor, man. Like, you got to feel really good about what you see behind center. Like, you juxtapose that to Will Levis. Will Levis looks like all hell's about to break loose every time he touches the football.
Yes.
And Will Levis has been in the league a couple years. Now, I know he hadn't played a lot of football, but you just compare and contrast that to Jaden Daniels and just look at the two. It's like daylight and dark. And that's why I think this is sustainable, because once you get to a point where the game is moving slow, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, the game moves really slow, then you feel like you can dictate to defenses what you want to do. And it almost seems like Jaden is doing that right now. And that's really unheard of for a rookie outside of maybe what CJ Stroud did last year.
Yeah. It does. It looks like the game is easy. He's playing on easy mode, rookie mode right now. All right. So I had a question off of something you just said there. You said it's early. When is it no longer early? What point of the season are you kind of what you are, and you got to go forward with what that is?
All right. Let's have a little fun here. Normally in baseball, they say look up when? After Memorial Day, right?
Yep.
So what holiday do you think we look at in football and say that's our kind of line of demarcation where we can look up and kind of know who's who?
Columbus Day, yeah.
No, not Columbus Day.
Halloween.
Halloween, guys.
Okay.
Let's get to Halloween, and by then everybody will take their mask off, and you know who's who. That's the easy way to remember.
That's good.
By the time you get to Halloween, everyone takes their mask off, puts their costume up, and you realize who's who. So it's still early until we get done trick or treating. By the way, Big Cat, I know you have kids. PFT, not really sure about you. I would guess no right now.
I have a 4-year-old son, Chris, that I made up.
Okay, perfect. What kind of candy are we giving out for Halloween?
So I do everything at my house. My kids love every candy. I'm not worried about the candy. The candy's easy. I got to figure out what I'm going to be for Halloween, because my son keeps saying he wants me to be an eyeball. So I think I have to be, what's Monsters, Inc.?
Oh, yeah. Who's that guy?
I don't know. But I think I have to be. He keeps saying he wants me to be an eyeball. I don't know where that came from, but I got to figure out. My costume is very important to me in Halloween, because I want my kids to like see the fun of it. Like, I dress up with them and I have a lot of fun with them. So it's like, that's what I'm stressed about.
If I were you, I'd just be like Stay Puft.
Okay. All right. That works too.
Yeah.
I'm wearing kind of a Stay Puft sweatshirt right now. That works.
Everything fits. You don't have to add anything. You just kind of fit. Just kind of feel right in, you know.
I feel like that was always going to go to Stay Puft.
Yeah, he was setting you up for that.
Yeah.
I like to give out good sized candy bars. I like to be known as the house on the street that hands out the full size, because you remember that house.
You do.
Or maybe I'll just zigzag this year and hand out toothbrushes. There was always a dentist in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or
the random guy who handed out like quarters.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Or just do apples and then have the parents freak out like, careful, there's a razor in there.
Yeah, 100% a razor. All right, so sticking with the NFL, the Ravens. Are the Ravens, so they start 0-2. They're very close. Obviously the game against the Raiders was like, how do you lose that game? But do you think this Ravens team is a Super Bowl caliber team? Because I'm starting to buy back in on the Ravens, the way they're running the football. Derrick Henry, I thought Derrick Henry would be washed at this point. He rips off an 87-yard run on Sunday Night Football. It's like, what the hell just happened? So, do you see the Ravens as the best team to challenge the Chiefs in the AFC, or is it another team?
Well, the Ravens have been a Super Bowl contender for the last 2 or 3 years, so that's nothing new. I think what's going to make the Ravens different this year is if we can get the Ravens we saw against Buffalo in December and January.
Yeah.
Like the Ravens won, 14 games last year, 13? Like they've been a contender for a while. That's nothing new. Can we get Lamar in the postseason to make those plays that he hadn't made the last couple of years where you can beat a Patrick Mahomes, you can beat a Josh Allen? Like nobody remembers September, guys. We remember December and January. And so while, we wake up Monday morning and everybody on Get Up is, man, the Ravens are the team to beat and they're the best team in football. Okay, give me a break. It's September. All right, let's get to December and January when everybody's been playing football for 4 or 5 months. The body's a little sore. The body's a little tired. Can Lamar Jackson handle the mental pressure that he's going to be under to deliver in the postseason? Because as great as he's been, and he's been great, he's on the way to being a Hall of Famer. He's a 2-time MVP. He's come up small in the postseason. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott have both come up small in the postseason. And so nothing they really do or nothing they can really do in September is going to really change my mind. They have to change my mind come December and January.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the NFC West? I think that's an interesting division because you've got the Niners who going into the season, everybody thought, okay, we're going to get the same Niners again. Now they've got some serious injury issues, not just with McCaffrey. He's seeing like German doctors, it's never a good sign if you have to leave the continent to go see a doctor. That's usually bad. And then you've got obviously Debo and Ayuk hasn't looked great this season so far. That might be a little leftovers from missing all training camp, but you've got them, and then you got the Seahawks, who I think look really good. I think the Seahawks, despite the fact they lost Monday Night Football, I think they look very good offensively. I think their defense is okay, and I trust their head coach a lot. So in that division, I don't know. I feel like the 49ers, they were great before they had McCaffrey, right? So even, let's just say McCaffrey doesn't come back this season. Do you still count them as the favorites to win that division, or is it going to be somebody else?
They can win the division without McCaffrey. They can't win a Super Bowl without him. I think the Rams, Matthew Stafford seems like a shell of himself, like he's throwing the football to the other team. They lost to the Bears. No offense, Big Cat.
The Bears defense is pretty good.
Okay, buddy. Let's settle down a little bit.
All right. Yeah, I thought you knew ball. I guess you don't.
Well, I mean, the Bears defense was good last year, and they still didn't do anything. So let's not go there.
Well, they have a quarterback now.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am sure about that. I know you're a hater. I know you're a Caleb Williams hater. I've seen what you've said.
I'm not a hater.
You're on the list.
Okay. Let's.
You're on the list.
I want to hear the list in a minute. But as far as the NFC West is concerned, am I concerned about Kyler Murray? No, probably not. Just because we know what Arizona's going to be. Seattle. Geno showed me something last night. Even though they didn't win, they were missing 4 defensive starters last night. To go into that building and take that team where they did, they showed me a little something. I think it comes down to between Seattle and San Francisco. And I think at the end of the day, San Francisco is good enough to win it because of their defense, but they're not going to be able to make hay in the playoffs unless they get McCaffrey back. And PFT, I agree with you. Anytime you have to start going and catching multiple flights, that some of them over 10 hours to go see a doctor, that's usually not good because that's not the first opinion. Yeah. That's like the second or third opinion that you've gone to get. And when you got to go to another country for a guy to tell you something good, that's usually not a good thing.
And it feels like Christian McCaffrey every week, it gets more and more severe. Like next week, they're just going to be like, yeah, Christian McCaffrey doesn't have legs. Because it was just, at first it was a little soreness, then it was tendonitis in one, then it was tendonitis in both. Then it's just he actually hasn't walked in 6 months. He has no legs.
Yeah, but Booger, you make a good point where you see the German doctor after you've already seen 3 doctors.
Correct.
And each one tells you the same thing, and it's not good.
It's like some of the ladies now. They're going to out of the
Brazil,
country to Puerto Rico to get the butt lift.
Yeah.
Like the Brazilian butt lift. There's a reason America won't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a reason nobody in the States are doing it. And you got to go out of the country to get it. It's probably usually not a good thing. It may make you feel better, but in the long run, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah. So I had a question about the Vikings and Sam Darnold. At what point do we say this is just a different guy? And I think I'm there already, But is there any part of you that is cautious to be like, hey, he's going to eventually go back to not being able to take care of the football, seeing ghosts, all that stuff? Or you're like, hey, this is new system, great coaching staff, great weapons. This is what he always was going to be if he was put in the right spot.
I'm going to make an analogy, and it's probably going to be pretty wild.
Okay.
Like if you look at Sam Darnold, he was in almost like he had to go to rehab, and he had to go through like a 12-step program. And I think Kevin O'Connell took him through that program where he was just trying to say no to all these different things that was stopping him from being a good quarterback. All right, like he had to get off all the bad quarterback drugs. Now, does that mean he's not going to have a relapse and have a game or two? Probably so. But what do? When you relapse, you go back, you see your sponsor, they get you back right, and he's ready to go. So I think at some point he's going to have a bad game or two, but it doesn't mean that he's going to revert back to the old Sam Darnold, because I think he's seen the light. Like he knows what it looks like on the other side of rehab, of quarterback rehab. And I think he knows when he gets a guy like Kevin O'Connell that says, I can put you in a position where you forget all about everything that you used to do, all your bad habits, everything that had people said that you were seeing ghosts on Monday night, all those things. Now, he's human. He's going to have a bad game or two. But what I've seen from Sam Darnold makes me believe that I think it's here to stay as long as that pairing is there. Now, I think when the rubber's going to meet the road is after this season. However far they go, I think Sam's going to have a great year. Now, if you're Minnesota, what do you do when Sam Darnold throws for 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns and he wants a new contract? Because he's going to want 30 or 40. He's going to want at least the Baker Mayfield deal, right? Like 3 years, $100 million. And if you're Minnesota, are you going to give that to him with J.J. McCarthy sitting there? I think that's the conversation later on. But right now, to answer your question, I am a believer in Sam Darnold right now because of what I've seen and because of the play caller. They marry well together.
Yeah, and to further your analogy, it's like Sam Darnold. He went to like hardcore rehab last year with Kyle Shanahan, and now he's like halfway house with Kevin O'Connell. It's all fixed. This season, I feel like the theme is it just further proves how important coaching is and time and place. And a lot of these guys that we say are busts, it's time and place. You look how Baker's playing, you look how Geno's playing, how Justin Fields is playing, how Sam Darnold's playing. It's like all these guys have the talent. It's just, can you be in an organization that brings the best out of you and not an organization that stunts your growth?
I'll give you another one. Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Malik Willis was 2-0, dude.
Yeah.
Like we thought Malik Willis was a bust. And all of a sudden he goes 2-0 because Matt LaFleur puts him in a really good position. So to your point, man, coaching matters. Isn't it amazing when somebody believes in you, man, how much that means?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody says, you know what? I think you can do it. Like that's what I tell you every Saturday. I think you can do it, big guy. But you never do it. But I'm not gonna go in on you today. I just want you to know that I do believe in you. It's amazing what happens when someone believes in you, and hopefully somebody will believe in Bryce Young, because I think the people in Carolina have given up on Bryce Young. Mm-hmm. And I hope somebody down the road can believe in him, because I was a Bryce Young fan, but from what I've seen to this point, it's like, man, where's the guy that I saw at Alabama? I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there will be a team that takes a chance on him. A team that says, okay, I saw the tape too. I know that you're capable of making throws. I know you're capable of playing well, and we'll take a chance on you and see what's going on here. But from what I saw from Bryce, I didn't see it. I don't think I've seen anything besides that one game against Green Bay last year, where I thought to myself, okay, Bryce Young, I think he can play in this league. Have you seen anything?
No, he looks small. Like I knew he was small, but he looks really small.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Kyler Murray at least has a little thickness to him. Like Bryce Young looks like he's like my son's 13 years old and he's bigger than Bryce Young. Like that's what he looks like out there.
Yeah.
And that's a bad feeling when you look at yourself on tape and you see yourself and you're like, man, like, do I really fit? Like you can tell he's lacking the confidence. Do I fit? Do I belong? And Dave Canales, as much as we give him the moniker of being a quarterback guru with what he did with Geno and what he did with Baker in Tampa, he's kind of failed Bryce Young so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're talking a lot about quarterback. Let's talk about some defenses. I know you love watching the big dudes up front. What defenses have surprised you in a good way this season?
In a good way. What defenses? Buffalo. Other than the game against Baltimore, Buffalo's defense has been lights out. When they lose both safeties, you lose Milano. Like they got a lot of missing pieces. And other than the Buffalo game, that defense has been really good now. It's been really, really good. Kansas City's defense has been lights out for the last couple of years. Chicago's defense continues to be really good.
Thank you.
Indianapolis, their defense, like as much as we give Gus Bradley a lot of stuff because he's so vanilla, that defense has been really good. Defense has been ahead of offense, but I feel like over the next month or so, you're going to start to see a separation where the good defenses kind of stay ahead, but the bad ones kind of float back to the flocks a little bit.
Yeah. So speaking of the Chiefs, do you think they're going to trade for a wide receiver, or do you think it's like, hey, we can do this our way and we'll find a way? Because the Chiefs, I feel like, are in that spot now where gone is, Rashee Rice if he's out for the year. Yeah. Xavier Worthy's obviously really fast, but that explosive offense isn't the same offense that they're running now, but they're just winning games, and that's all they have to do. Like, just be within a touchdown with Patrick Mahomes in the second half, and you're okay.
They need another playmaker because they got too many question marks. Like, if there was just one question mark, Patrick could make up for it, but there's a question mark at left tackle, there's a question mark at wide receiver, there's a question mark at running back. You're asking Patrick to make up a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Not only does he have to evade whoever's playing, windshield wiper at left tackle, now he's got to try to allow Travis Kelce to get open because he's a tick slow. Now you got to deal with a rookie number one receiver and Xavier Worthy. So there's a lot of question marks. They need to solve one of those question marks. And so do I think they go get a piece or a receiver? Yeah, because that's the easiest one to solve. And there are a lot of guys out there. Could you imagine this? Imagine the Chiefs with Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be out of the world if they offer the Raiders a one?
What?
And if you're the Raiders, would you get rid of him?
What about the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill? Could you imagine that?
Well, they had him. They'd let him go.
What?
Isn't there a rule? I think Ian Rappaport tweeted this out yesterday. There's a rule that if you trade a player, or if you lose a player, you can't get him back on your team for what, like 2 seasons?
What?
But
yeah, they were talking about Bryce Huff.
Yeah, if you trade a guy
or Hassan Reddick,
yeah, Hassan Reddick, you can't trade a guy back to the original team for like 2 seasons. So I don't think that applies to Tyreek Hill because it wasn't a trade. I don't think, right?
Well, it was a
free agent.
I thought it was a trade.
No, I don't think it was a trade.
Was Tyreek a free agent?
I think it was a trade.
I don't know. Y'all got computers in front of you.
We do have computers. That's a good point. Big Cat's hot. We got our research boys in the back working on it right now.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, I'm going to find it.
I think it was a business decision by the Chiefs not to...
Correct. I thought he was a free agent.
No, they traded him for 5 draft picks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They did?
I was right. Yeah.
So he can't go back to the Chiefs?
That was 2022, so he probably can.
I think it's 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's 2 seasons.
2 full
What are these
seasons.
rules? That's a stupid rule.
I'd never heard of that rule before. I think DeAndre Hopkins on the Chiefs would be a great fit.
Yeah, because they need somebody that can work. If you notice what Rashee Rice was doing, like Worthy can still do the deep stuff. Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce is kind of the jack of all trades a little bit as far as being a tight end and underneath. They need somebody that can run routes and get open and separate. I don't know if D Hop is the guy that can still, like, he's still a good receiver, but can he separate? He's more that 50-50 ball guy. Like they need somebody like I'll throw a name out there for you. And I'm not saying this is the guy, but imagine somebody like a Hunter Renfrow that can work the middle and get open really quick. Like they need somebody like that, not Hunter Renfrow, because I don't think they need him, but somebody like that, because that's what Rice was starting to do: work the middle, get open, the slants, the comebacks, all those little things.
Maybe Ladd McConkey,
Adam Thielen,
maybe a Luke McCaffrey, that type of guy,
like somebody like McCaffrey.
Yeah, Adam Thielen,
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
No, Cooper. No, not Cooper's a DB.
These are
Oh, Riley Cooper is what I was saying.
Riley Cooper. Yeah, like a Wes Welker type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone like the Braxton Berrios kind of guy.
I'm thinking like a Wayne Krebet.
Yeah. Is that who you're thinking of?
Be a good fit. Maybe Ed McCaffrey. Ed McCaffrey could probably still play.
Let's keep going back, getting old white receivers. Let's keep going.
Whoa! We don't see color here.
Yeah, I
know. Me either. I'm just observing what you're saying.
I could play this game all day, Booger. Yeah. Booger is brought to you by Uber Eats. Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food, no matter what you're craving. From 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, the official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now for game day. Terms and conditions apply. See the app for details. And now, more Booger. Talk to me about Aaron Rodgers and what's going on with the Jets, because it feels like Aaron Rodgers has been like secretly, not so secretly, calling the show up there in New York for the last couple of seasons, and it didn't look good. Maybe it was the weather. But what have you seen from Aaron? Do you think that he's still got it?
Yeah, Aaron still got it. I think Aaron is trying to figure out what he has around him. They got a lot of talent, man. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall, you got Braylon Allen, you got Lazard. Like, they got weapons. It was very shocking that they only scored 9 points, and that's Aaron's fault. Like, we can blame the weather. You can say whatever. Bo Nix had, 10? And you had 9. So a rookie in his 4th start outscored you. And I know the Broncos defense is good, but the Jets defense is good also. Mm-hmm. But as far as a guy who played defense in the National Football League for about a decade, if we hold a team to 10 points, I expect to win that game 97% of the time. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we lost that game, that's on Aaron Rodgers. And I think in a private moment, Aaron Rodgers will tell you that. He's got to be better. And Aaron is kind of like the old guy that's stuck in his own ways. And here's what I mean. He wants the offense to run the way that he wants to. There's so much going on in offense right now. Like, if you look at what you guys are doing in Washington, a lot of motion, a lot of zone read, a lot of shotgun. Like, everything is movement. It's a lot of innovative stuff. The Jets aren't doing that. It's Aaron at the line of scrimmage dictating, and like, they got to evolve a little bit, man. And Aaron's got to be better. So he can still throw it. Go back to that Monday night against the 49ers. The arm is still there, but offensively, he and his best friend Nathaniel Hackett have got to figure it out.
Yeah. It does feel bad. All right, so I got some college questions for you, Booger.
Before we get to college, I do have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were to find yourself in a Shannon Sharpe situation, how would you handle that?
So if that were to happen to me, I would be the happiest person on earth. But the problem would be nobody would think that was real. They'd be like, "Oh, PFT's playing a prank on us."
Yeah,
like
you actually would. We actually are in a good spot where anything that we fuck up, we can just be like, "Haha, joke."
Yeah, it was satire.
Yeah,
I was doing a satirization of social media.
Yeah, it was a social experiment.
It did scare me though, because his explanation was that he's never been live on Instagram, and then he tossed his phone and it went live. And I think people look back on it, and I don't think he had been live before. So now I feel like I've got this ticking time bomb in my pocket that's liable to go live, but never in a million years would it catch me having sex with a woman who was enjoying it.
And she's kind of giving you a lot of accolades during that.
Yes, exactly. It would whatever the case may be, it would not come off as good as it did for Shannon Sharpe.
Well, just so you know, when I heard it, I started thinking about people who could pull it off and kind of get away with it. And the first person I thought about was you, just so you know. That's why I bring it up.
I appreciate that.
See, when I heard it, I started jerking off.
Please tell me you were at home and
no, I was at work. I was like, hold on, guys, I gotta go take a piss.
I want to know what Skip Bayless's first thought was. That honestly, my first reaction was like, what is?
He probably was like, it should have been me.
Well, no, because Skip and Ernestine sleep in separate bedrooms, so that would never go on.
Yeah. All right. Wow. So, Booger, college. First question: does Kirby Smart have an Alabama problem? Because it feels like he does. 1-6 all time against them, and the one you could make the argument. We're not going to do what ifs, but you could make the argument. Jameson Williams doesn't tear his ACL, and that game maybe goes different. So, what is the deal? Georgia has been so good for his whole stretch there, but they seem to not be able to take down Alabama, and you thought maybe it'd change. Maybe it was a Nick Saban problem, but Saturday night happens, and they just looked – I know credit to them for the comeback, but they looked not ready for the fight when the ball was kicked off in Tuscaloosa.
I'll put it to you this way. There's an old saying that I learned a long time ago. Never accept a carbon copy of the original. Oh. Because at some point, the carbon copy is going to fall a little bit short. When Kirby built Georgia, he built it what he saw at Alabama. You can't duplicate that. Now, Kirby has won 2 national championships, and it's one hell of a program, and they recruit better than anybody else. But when they go against Alabama, it's the carbon copy going against the original.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think he has a Saban problem because Saban is not there. I just think the kids at Alabama step on the field saying, your team is built like us, but there's something about us that you can't replicate. And Kirby hasn't been able to replicate it. And I think it's mental. Yeah. I don't think it's physical. I just think it's a mentality of how Nick Saban built that team, the culture. and Kalen DeBoer came in, and I think the smartest thing he did was kind of keep Saban around. Saban's got an office in the facility or in the stadium, so Saban can kind of help DeBoer keep the one thing that I think is the most important thing in college football is the culture.
Right.
How do you keep 17 to 21-year-olds in this time locked in and not worried about NIL and focused and ready to run through a wall for you? It's the culture in your building, and it's amazing how he's done that. And so I think that's the issue for Georgia. Georgia's got talent. Georgia's got more 5 stars than anybody. Like, they recruit better than anybody. But what they can't do is they can't play bully ball with Alabama. They can't play mental mind tricks with Alabama because Alabama started this. Like we're the one who started this gangster stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can do that we haven't done before. And so I just think it's something that Kirby's going to have to figure out. They got to get over the hump. But as Tom Jackson and Boomer would say, once is an accident, 2 is a problem, 3 is a trend. Like, there's a trend here.
Yeah.
All right? 1 in 6? That's a trend.
Yeah.
And he's got to figure it out.
Yeah. And the culture thing is a great point because you could make the same argument that Ryan Day trying to replicate Urban's culture is part of why they've fallen short with Michigan, because Urban, that culture, it didn't matter. You could get kids from Florida, Texas, California. For some reason, Urban was able to say to them, hey, it matters to beat Michigan, and you play for Ohio State, and like you would see that in the games. Ryan Day, it feels like that culture has fallen short with Michigan.
And Ryan Day, I think the kids feel his anxiety.
Yeah.
They feel that this is the biggest game in his life. Like, Ryan Day is 56-8 or 57-8 in his career, and of those 8, he's lost 3 to Michigan, and they're ready to fire him. Like, if he doesn't beat Michigan this year, there's a strong chance he's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so Ryan Day doesn't have a coach problem. He's got a Michigan issue.
Yes.
Whereas I think Kirby is trying to figure out how to kind of replicate and kind of put the finishing pieces on what he built replicating Alabama. Ohio State's just trying to figure out, how do we beat that team? How do we beat that team that's given us so many issues and so many problems? And I feel for Ryan Day because Ryan Day's a good coach.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears, you know this, Big Cat. The Bears wanted to hire Ryan Day at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Bears have their own culture issue, but that's neither here. We're talking college now.
I do have a college question for you.
Yeah.
It's actually a question about your question. So I think you tweeted this out over the weekend when you were watching college ball. You said, here's a question. Why do college kickers seem to wet the bed more times than not and pressure game-winning tying kicks? I have a theory, but would love to hear from you all, especially my football brethren.
Ooh.
What was your theory?
My theory is that football players, like, we spend 2.5 hours practicing in the heat, getting mentally fatigued and developing mental toughness. Kickers don't do that. Kickers come out, kick for like 20, 30 minutes a day. They sit around, they play marbles and tiddlywinks, and they're not mentally tough. And so when you get in those pressure moments, they haven't been mentally hardened. Okay. And so they literally wet the bed. Like, if you look at the kid for Ole Miss, like, it was a 48-yard field goal and he didn't even get close.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even remotely near the goalpost. And that's not talent. That's just mental toughness, man. That's like the moment is getting too big. And when he's getting ready to pull that right leg back, he's like, oh no, what if I miss? And then he shanks it. And so my theory is just that, is I think you have to have a way. And what my coach used to do back in college is we would bring the kicker up at the end of practice. And if he made it, then we didn't have to run. If he missed, we had to run more gassers. And so now there's pressure on the kick. Not only pressure for you, but what you does affects everybody else on the team. Mm-hmm. Because if you miss, we got to run more. And we're going to be dog cussing you after we get done running. So you're the guy who's been over there in the air conditioning for the last 2 hours while we've been practicing. You better make this kick. And so I just think kickers are mentally weak, man. And some coaches have got to figure out a way to mentally toughen up kickers.
I love it. I love that your theory is that kickers are wimps.
Yeah.
I think there's some water to that.
Yeah.
Maybe the coaches like just say, I'm going to kidnap your family if you miss this kick. In practice, but then they don't actually
and they just
do it.
On the video board they put up the family.
It's AI. They have like an AI video of the family. Yeah.
Yeah. Here it is. Here's the family I'm going to kidnap. Booger, do you have a Heisman vote?
No, I do not have a Heisman vote.
So why is Travis Hunter your Heisman?
Well, because I think, the Heisman is given to the best player in college football.
Yes.
It's never been the best quarterback. We've made it the best quarterback.
Yes.
And I think it's still going to be the best quarterback. Mm-hmm. But I think if you look through 5 weeks, He's been the best player in the country.
Yes.
He's got, I don't know, almost 400 or 500 yards receiving. He's got a couple of picks. Like, he's playing more plays than anybody. What he does is unreal. Think about it this way: he could be a top 5 pick at receiver and a top 5 pick at corner.
Yep.
I don't think anybody. I can't remember anybody that's ever done that. Like, Charles Woodson only had 12 catches or so. I think it's the year he won the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Champ Bailey, the last guy I saw it do both ways, because Champ Bailey was in my era. Champ didn't have that many catches. Like, this dude's got like 30 or 40 catches already. He may wind up with like 90 catches and like 8 or 9 picks.
Yeah.
Like, that's unheard of.
Just to be clear, he has 46 catches, 561 yards, and 6 touchdowns right now on the season. I think he has 3 picks or something. It's pretty crazy. That was a do you know ball question, and you passed, because he is the Heisman. He should be the Heisman. It's crazy that people are going to ding him for Colorado maybe not being one of the best teams, but I'm so sick of the Heisman just going to the best quarterback on the best team. Like, that's not how the award should work.
But that's how the award does work, because people who really don't know ball need something to quantify.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing they look at? Stats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I always tell them, stats are like bikinis. They show some things, but not all things. And so I just tell the stats people, just take a step back and just look at ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have an opportunity to prove that they know ball if they do the right thing and vote Travis Hunter for the Heisman Trophy. He's the best college football player in the country. I don't think it's particularly close. There's some good quarterbacks, but none of them are as good at football as Travis Hunter. He needs to be the Heisman winner.
Yeah. The other guy who might challenge him, and who I've actually been a believer in, who's starting to get to a point where people are not doubting him anymore, Jalen Milroe. Are you in that camp where you're like, okay, we know that he's struggled at times as a passer, but he has been lights out, and there's something that he does things on the field that you shouldn't be allowed to do. Like, you shouldn't be able to run sideways against an SEC defense and turn the corner on an entire defense, and he does it easily. So are you in like the Jalen Milroe is the real deal camp?
Yeah, and I think Kirby Smart put it the best. He might be the best running back in the country, and he can throw the football.
Yeah.
Like that's something that makes him special. And in this day and age, guys, and you tell me what you think. I think the biggest cheat code in football, it's not cover 2 like Mel Kiper thinks. It's not a blitz. I think the biggest cheat code in football is a quarterback that can run, because it changes everything. It changes the way we play defense. It changes how you call offense. It changes everything around if you have a quarterback that can run. And he doesn't have to be like Joe Montana as a passer. He just needs to be average. Like, if he's an average passer, he's phenomenal. If you look at Anthony Richardson was the 4th pick in the draft. He'd only started 13 games, but because his athleticism was so vast and it was so unbelievable, he's the 4th pick in the draft. And teams will say, I can develop him as a passer. I think Jalen Milroe is going to be the same way. And don't be surprised. And I know this is not specifically about the college game, but don't be surprised if he's a first-round pick at quarterback.
Ooh, I like that.
And if you would have said that a year ago when he got benched against USF, people would have said you're crazy.
Yeah. I was at the Texas game, and he couldn't complete a pass. It was like, this is crazy. He can't throw a pass 10 yards down the field, and now he just looks incredible.
And he seems like a good dude too.
Really good dude.
Like just a good human being. I don't know. Is he a better human being or a football player? Last year I would have said much better human being than football player. This year, I don't know. I think he might be a better football player.
He's developing. You got to give his coaching. And he works, like, the kid works his ass off, man. Like, I live here in Tampa, and my buddy owns a facility where they get guys who are, quote unquote, potential combine guys for the following year to come down. And Jalen Milroe came down with all the Alabama receivers and DBs and all that stuff. And so I saw him here in Tampa throwing the football like last spring. And just, not that he was getting ready for the draft, but he just wanted to come get some work in. Mm-hmm. And he was just down here working. Like, the dude's, he's 6'2", 6'3", he's 220. Like he looks the part. Like, he looks unbelievably built. And the mental game of how you play quarterback is starting to marry up with his physical traits. And Kalen DeMoore is showing, not only can I coach Michael Penix Jr., who's a passer, I can build an offense around a guy who's quote unquote a runner. Mm-hmm. And I think, you got to give Kalen a lot of credit, because coaching really matters, as we've learned.
Yes.
If you can, as a coach, you got to put your guys in position to succeed, and Kalen is doing that. So kudos to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Quinn Ewers coming back for the Longhorns against Oklahoma for the Red River Shootout. We still call it the Shootout. Watching Arch Manning the last few weeks, do you think that if he struggles, it might be a quick hook for him? And it sounds crazy to say because we've had Ewers playing really well in Texas when he's on the field for the last couple seasons. But what you see with Arch adds a little bit of a different dimension to the offense sometimes. So do you think that there might be a chance that Ewers would get benched, not because of injury this season, but if he goes out there and doesn't play up to his potential?
No, I don't. And I think there's a level of loyalty that Steve Sarkisian has. And I think it goes back to when he recruited those guys. And I think he's built trust in them. And that's why those guys that's why Arch is not going to transfer, because Arch knows that when his time is up, or when his time is there to be the quarterback, he's going to be the quarterback. Like he knows that Steve is not going to go bring somebody else in, so he'll patiently wait his turn. But if you go back and look at what Quinn Ewers did in Ann Arbor against Michigan, like they took Michigan apart.
Yeah.
I think they're one of the best teams in the country. And as long as he's healthy, I think the level of loyalty that Sark has to Quinn is going to allow him to put Quinn back in and allow Arch to say, okay, my turn is coming.
That goes back to culture. Yeah.
Culture, it's built. I know I'm the next guy in line. And if Quinn gets hurt, I'll step in. Or if Quinn has if Quinn gets dinged and I got to go in for a series or two, yeah, Sark will do that. But I don't think he's going to pull him for poor play, because if he pulls Quinn for poor play, then Archie's got to say, well, when it's my turn, what makes me think he won't pull me?
Right.
And so I think there's a level that Sark has to build. Like he's built enough trust and enough equity with those guys where he's not going to have to do that as far as pulling Quinn for Arch, or when Arch's time is there to pull Arch for somebody else.
Who in the SEC, let's say the SEC gets 4 teams in the college football playoff. Who are those 4 teams?
Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas.
Okay, so Ole Miss, that was a pretty bad loss for Ole Miss at home against a team like that was the Ole Miss of old, where they just beat up on these really bad teams to start the season, score 1 million points, and then they face a bully and their O-line kind of faltered, and it's just like, is this the same thing? Is this gonna happen again, where they play Alabama or they play Georgia and they just get bullied at the line of scrimmage again? Because it feels that it was going that way.
Now I'll give Ole Miss a little. I'm not gonna beat them up too bad. Kentucky's defensive line is really good. Like they got 3 or 4 pros up there in their 2 deep. But this was supposed to be the year, right, for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Right? We went out. We got Walter Nolan. We got Prince, whatever his name is, from Florida. Like they got all these good players. Jackson Dart's back. Lane Kiffin is new and improved. But to your point, it kind of looked like the same Ole Miss.
Yeah.
As long as the game is run and shoot, they can play. But when it becomes a street fight, they couldn't play the game. And we'll see. They play South Carolina in Columbia, and Willie B's going to be rocking. South Carolina's got a defensive line that's really good. So the same formula is going to be there. If South Carolina's defense can kind of play to their level, and Jackson Dart and Ole Miss get a little impatient, they could be in a dogfight in Columbia. And then the following week, they got to come to Baton Rouge, which, oh, by the way, if you've never been to Baton Rouge and never been to a night game, October 12th, Saturday night, Tiger Stadium. You might want to put that one on your calendar.
Yeah. I mean, we've been many times, and it really, there's nothing compares to it. It really doesn't.
So give me your college football national champion and your Super Bowl winner, and I'm going to put you under kicker pressure here. If you don't get them right, we're all going to run.
Okay. College football national championship game, I'm going to go Texas versus Alabama.
Okay.
Super Bowl, I'm going to go Detroit versus Baltimore.
Oh. And who's your champion?
I'm going to the 3-1-3, baby. Detroit. I think Detroit wins it all this year.
Yeah, I mean, their weapons are insane. That Monday Night Football game where they just it's just when everything's firing, it's just so hard to defend them. And Ben Johnson is doing shit that's just, I mean, that pass to Jared Goff, that was like the perfect play.
I don't think they have a hole on their offense. I think that they've got top to bottom, the best offensive roster in the NFL.
Yeah.
The offensive line is really good. They got two good backs. They got two good receivers. The quarterback is playing out of his mind. Their biggest issue is going to be on defense. Can they get somebody to help Hutch rush the passer? Is somebody going to tell Terrion Arnold that you can't hold every play?
Yeah.
And can they stay healthy? Like that's going to be the issue, because their secondary, Carlton Davis is pretty good. Arnold, man, he's got he had 4 penalties last night. He's got like 7 or 8 so far this year. Like, teams will start to identify him and pick on him. He's got to get better, and they need one more guy to step up to help Hutch rush the passer.
Yeah. All right, last question. This has been awesome, Boog. We always love having you on. Roback question, RHOBACK.com. Promo code TAKE, 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts, roback.com, promo code TAKE. So PFT just got your college football champion and your Super Bowl champion. Who's going to win the World Series?
World Series. I think the Philadelphia Phillies are the best team.
Yeah. Right. Let's go for Max, our guy.
I think Phillies, like if you're a TV network, you want Phillies, Yankees, World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, Citizens Bank Park is the best atmosphere in baseball.
The bank.
Is it SEC?
You can't go into the bank.
They were saying it's like an SEC stadium.
It's as close to an SEC football stadium that you can get in baseball. Like, it's unreal.
Like maybe Vanderbilt? Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Maybe. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Vandy's come a long way. And I'll take the Phillies, though. Yeah,
okay.
Phillies over Yankees.
I love it.
All right.
You want to do hockey and basketball, too, while we got you?
Hockey, I think the best team in hockey right now, preseason is going on right now. Nashville is going to be pretty good.
Okay.
Let's see. Toronto, I just don't know if they got cap issues.
Yeah.
Chicago used to be my team. They kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah, Bedard, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Toronto.
Okay.
Toronto,
right.
It's the Leafs here.
Yeah, and basketball?
Basketball, Denver.
Okay. College?
Jokic. College basketball, it'll be a 3-peat. UConn, baby.
Oh, okay. All right. We got them all.
But what about college hockey?
College hockey, let's go Boston University.
Okay. What about Kentucky Derby?
Kentucky Derby, I haven't gotten to that one just yet.
Okay, all right. That's where we got that. Yeah.
Well, is Big Brown still running?
I don't know. We'll find a horse for you.
Baffert's back.
Yeah.
Did you say Baffert's horse?
We just got them all.
Yeah.
We just went. Boog just went through them all. All right. Well, Boog, thank you so much, man.
I'm gonna put a parlay on that booger.
Yeah, we always. Yeah. Phillies, UConn, Denver, Lions. And what was the last one? Oh, and we're gonna say Nashville.
Yeah.
No, Leafs.
All right, 5.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Imagine this would be the greatest. I mean, this would be the greatest clip of all time, Boog. Even if you go like 3 for 5.
Yeah, you know ball.
Yeah, you do know all
like
ball.
it.
All right, thanks so much, Boog.
Booger was brought to you by Chevy. There's a reason we've never done a Mount Rushmore pickup trucks. That's because for part of my take, there's only one pickup truck, the Chevy Silverado. Why is that? Silverado's a partner. It's a partner you can depend on. We've all spent time driving and using the Silverado for all kinds of part of my take jobs, adventures, and other shenanigans. Silverado has been our ride for a cross-country trip to the Super Bowl. Silverado helped us dig the biggest hole ever in the state of Ohio last year at Grit Week. Silverado helped us give fullbacks the recognition they deserve with the Lowman Award. And this year, Silverado was out west with us for our latest Grit Week. Silverado brings the grit too. It's legendary grit. It's got modern truck tech, inside and out. Massive screens, up to 8 cameras with 14 different views to help make driving, towing, and parking all easier. We love the bold blacked out look of the new Silverado HT Trail Boss. So head over to Chevy.com, build your own Silverado or Silverado HD. Check out all the current offers on the Silverado. Discover a world of strength and capability all behind the wheel of our favorite truck, the Chevy Silverado.
Okay, let's finish up with FAQs. Breaking moves, though. Breaking moves. Devontae Adams has said he'd prefer to be traded.
Okay.
So that feels like it's going to happen. Memes is going to be pumped.
To the
Memes
Jets or the Chiefs.
Jets or Chiefs. There's no way the Raiders would trade him in a division.
No, they won't.
That'd be crazy.
He's a Jet.
He's going to be a Jet. Okay, FAQs, Hank, to wrap us up.
Would you stop talking to each other forever, Big Cat and PFT, if it meant the Commies or the Bears became a dynasty like the Patriots for 20 years?
Why would we stop talking to each other?
Just would you?
Would we still be able to do the podcast?
We just
Like,
direct
we'd be like Mike and Mike
everything to Hank.
if we just can't talk outside of the podcast?
Maybe the podcast would get better. Maybe
I'd
use all our gold on the outside.
I would maybe answer yes in like 10 years.
I would say no because I think we're going to do it, Jaden.
There you go.
Wait, what?
I would say no. I wouldn't. I would
He
not
doesn't
take that
have to
deal
worry about it,
because I
he's
basically
saying.
have that dynasty right now.
I'm saying when I'm 50 years old, if there's been no progress, I might have to get desperate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, Dunk Lockwood, oh, fuck, you're going to make me commenter and getting less big and more trim cat. Are we going to get...
I've been lifting 4 times a week.
Are we going to get another tattoo bet this year?
Oh,
tattoo bet. Oh, we did figure out dingers only.
Oh, yeah.
That ended. Ozuna did not go yard.
Nope.
On Monday, so that means that Max will be pitching. I will be catching.
Mm-hmm.
Not excited about that. In fact, I'm dreading that.
Big time, though, downgrade for center fielder from Max to Brandon Walker.
That's a huge downgrade. Are we sure it's going to be Brandon?
I think I just said it was.
Okay, Brandon in center field. He's not going to like running.
I think Brandon will be in center. Maybe I'll be in right. Hank in left. Jerry at first.
Jerry's got to be umpire.
When did we? There was no infielders. We had a full.
I will go
infield last
4
year.
outfield. Yeah, Jerry. I think that's fair. With Max out, Jerry and Brandon do equal 1 human.
Yeah,
That's fair.
who should be the umpire this year then?
Oh yeah, Jerry could be umpire again.
I'm fine with 3 outfielders.
Can I say
but-
something that I'm not trying to say to make you look small?
No, I was about to say it's going to be tough. I'm going to look very small in the catcher's outfit. I'm not going to give Max a big target behind home plate.
So can I propose an umpire not to make you look small, but it would maybe make you look small?
Mm-hmm.
Big T.
That'd be very funny. Yeah,
That would be such a funny.
that'd be a good look.
And
Big T would be such a fucking
He
stickler
has
at
an
the plate.
umpire's demeanor. His life is like when he walks around the
would
office, he's
squeeze
an
me
umpire.
so hard.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
walks around thinking he's Angel Hernandez.
I like that a lot.
Okay, so it's settled.
I'll talk to Big T.
Okay. Oh, wait, what was the question?
We still got to find a team at
Tattoo
a
bet.
place
Oh.
somewhere
Oh,
around
tattoo
Chicago.
bet.
I would do
for
a
us to
tattoo
it.
bet. It would be, yeah, I guess we could, but it's not the same when it's not a Thursday night game.
Yeah,
It was the Thursday night game that made it special. We both were really
it was
bad.
bad teams.
Me and PFT have a Thursday night game.
Oh,
Tattoo bet, perm bet.
what would you get a tattoo of? A meatball?
I don't know.
That would be awesome if you had a meatball. Maybe if you had a meatball as a teardrop,
Definitely would not do that.
but it would be cool.
Definitely,
Just right above the heart.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I'd do it. I'd do it for this year's Bears Commanders game or this year's Commanders Eagles game.
Oh yeah, but both of those happened.
Yeah. Both those happen. All right, we'll figure it out.
Could you guys give a shout out to all the AWLs in North Carolina and dealing with the hurricane effects?
Yes,
Yes.
it is like insane. The videos, it's so tragic. We have a shirt up. So Caleb Presley, our colleague, he's from Asheville. So he's got a Mountain Strong shirt that you can buy in the Barstool Sports store. 100% of the proceeds go to the food bank to help people in that area. But yeah, I have a friend who lives there. He's been telling me it's just like, it's heartbreaking. So we're thinking of everyone in Asheville.
Yeah, water is very scary.
Yeah.
When you deal with flash floods, if you don't see them, you don't think about how dangerous they are. But then you see the videos that come out, and you're like, "Holy fuck, these people lost everything."
And like
Yeah.
mountain roads, like you can't do anything.
Yeah, so 100 again, Mountain Strong shirts in the Barstool store. 100% of proceeds go to Manna Food Bank in Western North Carolina. Hopefully, we can just do, even though it's a small part, any part helps for the people in Asheville and Western North Carolina.
Hey guys, what is your Mount Rushmore of athletes or sports personalities that you have got the best/most content from since you started the show? Big Ben, Coach K, etc.
Yeah, Big Ben was where mine went initially.
Coach K.
Coach K, Lenny Dykstra, maybe.
JJ Watt.
JJ Watt's a good one. Jameis has to be on there.
Phillip Rivers.
Phil Rivers for sure. LeBron. I mean, LeBron has to be on there.
Yeah.
He has to be. Who else? That's a good question, though.
Marlins man.
Marlins man,
Athlete.
noted athlete,
Yeah.
foul ball guy.
Tommy.
Tommy Lasorda.
Your Tommy Hank.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Brady. I thought you were saying Tommy
Patino.
Lasorda. Patino. That's a good question. Who's the underrated? Oh, KD. KD's a big one. Really good question. AWL.
Ravel.
Put that in. Incredible
Athlete.
Incredible athlete.
Not your content.
Incredible athlete.
Steph, Chris Paul.
Blake Griffin.
Chris Paul's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more like not people like almost people that have never been on the show.
Right, like
even
Chris
once.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiger.
People we've never interviewed.
Ever.
Tiger.
Even not running it like Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What?
Tiger for sure. Blake. Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
That's it.
Phil Mickelson.
Bryson.
Bryson's
Yeah,
a
Bryson.
top tier one. We should have saved this for Mount Rushmore season.
Yeah, because it's just like there's some people that, flashes in the pan.
Yeah, we should
Jameis,
just
I
do
feel
this.
like, has
Remember,
been
we should just do this
forever.
for Mount Rushmore
LeBron's
season
been
next year.
forever. Tom Brady's been forever.
This is a good Mount Rushmore. Flacco.
Blake Bortles.
Yeah. Okay, good show, boys. We will see everyone Friday. We have Joe Flacco on the show.
How about that?
Yeah, Joe Flacco on the show on Friday. And we'll try to do some baseball as well.
Love you guys.
Numbers.
40.
5.
11.
Why 11?
99 Pug.
98. Big Cat.
21.
I don't know. I'm trying to just get a little of the magic off of Pug. $67.
Love you guys.